It's going good, man. How are you?
Hanging in there, living the dream as always.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a long episode. We're going to dedicate a few hours talk about this clusterfuck of the Democratic Party and Joe Biden. Um, yeah, a lot of shit. A lot of shit. It's only been what? It's only Saturday. It's been 4 days. Cost like 10,000 people 10,000 jobs just in our country. The man actually managed in less than 24 hours fuck over 2,000 people in Canada. That is impressive.
And he managed to piss the Canadians off. That's a feat in its own.
That's impressive. Even just even even frosty Bernie Sanders up there is pissed off, and that takes something, you know. That takes a lot. So thank you, Joe Biden. Just another fucking swamp rat that we're obviously going back to the same old bullshit that we hated so much, and then back at it again.
Man, I have no words for it. I honestly don't. I'm just. I guess I got used to being spoiled. Over the last I'll say 3 years because they kind of fucked us over in the fourth.
Good way to start off, because let's just remember, or here recently they're saying Joe Biden inherited basically no distribution plan from Donald Trump and his administration. There was like no plan. We didn't get anything, guys. People are getting vaccinated, so we don't know how in the hell it just got distributed, but it somehow it got there. You had like the states like New Jersey that wasn't giving them out enough of them, that have been wasting it, and then West Virginia has been like pumping them out in every arm. Fuck it, next. But
yeah, it's just like we never distributed supplies to Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? He's not giving us anything. A whole pile of shit, behind.
Nothing, no money, no toilet paper, no food, and it's just there's fucking Walmart trucks coming up behind them. Yeah, fucking joke, dude. Like I was listening to, like, it's just, there was no distribution plan, but people have been getting, like, 1 million people have been getting doses in the past few days. Magic! How did that happen?
Golly.
The one thing that pisses me off most. Let's see. I love this. NBC News. Experts praise Biden's COVID-19 plan, but warn that undoing Trump-era mistakes will take time. Well, what's his goddamn plan? What is he holding there? National Strategy for the COVID-19 Response and Pandemic Preparedness. Okay, that's just a big book of bullshit.
The plan is, it's Trump's plan, but they're already sucking Biden's dick. So he's going to come up with the plan because they didn't tell the public what Trump's plan was, and it's going to be the same exact plan, guaranteed.
Oh yeah. Well, he came out and said that it was. Here it is. CNN saying Biden inherited non-existent coronavirus vaccine distribution plan and must start from scratch, sources say. But then you have dipshit Anthony Fauci on there saying, "Oh, well, there was I mean, not starting from scratch. I mean, there was a plan, and we're just making it better. The president's going to make it better." The fucking weasel.
Yeah, not to mention time between vaccinations. It's no longer 2 weeks; it's now 6 weeks because they found out that the vaccines were double the dose.
Oh yeah, you needed to take 2. Yeah,
you're taking 2 at once, so we're gonna space it out for 6 weeks.
Oh, so they were so they were putting double the amount in the syringe and giving to each person.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Double doses of vaccine? Let's see. It's kind of hard to use Google because they're going to. It's going to be. You know how they basically edit the searches. Like I talked to you yesterday, you and the rest of the guys. Like, hey, go ahead and Google Trump DC hotel, and then go on DuckDuckGo and Trump, and then and search Trump's DC hotel. One of them is going to say, his DC hotel is going into the shitters, losing 60% revenue, and the other one's going to be saying, hey, Trump opened up his DC hotel for the fucking National Guardsmen that were kicked out in the fucking parking lot.
Yeah, with what was it, 2 bathrooms and one socket.
Yeah,
one electric socket.
I'm going to use DuckDuckGo because Google's not going to give me shit.
Not to. Temperatures probably dropping near or at freezing levels.
Yeah, let's see here. Oh shit, that's fucking bad. This is according to the Times of Israel. Woman 70 accidentally given 5 vaccine doses.
Yeah. How does that?
It says a 70-year-old woman has accidentally received 5 doses of the Pfizer BioNTech coronavirus vaccine. According to Channel 12, she actually turned green and became the Incredible Hulk. I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, what?
A man in his 40s also received a double dose in error. The report says both were clients of the Colate Health provider. Interesting. I don't think anything happened to them. I mean, I'm sure they would say, they would be dead if they were.
Well, you got that doctor that took the vaccine and died.
Yeah, in Florida. Which, if anyone's listening out there, go ahead, Google that. Doctor dies after coronavirus vaccine. Put that on Google. You're not going to find shit. You go on DuckDuckGo, you're going to find articles from all the main sources that say a doctor died 2 weeks after, and they don't know why, or if it even is vaccine related.
And I know exactly how they mistakenly gave that lady 5 doses because she had information on the Clintons.
Let's see. It says 1,900 doses of Moderna vaccine destroyed after a cleaner accidentally unplugs freezer in Boston. Way to go, dickhead! Way to go, you fucking dickhead, huh?
Did you hear about that? I think he was either a lab assistant or no, he was a pharmacist. He intentionally destroyed, I don't remember how many vials of the vaccine, but he's in jail now. Yeah.
Intentional destruction of the vaccine. Let's DuckDuckGo that.
DuckDuckGo. Yeah, I found out about this.
There we go. Intentional destruction. FBI investigating the destruction of 500 doses of the Moderna vaccine. And this is according to the Jonathan Turley. I don't know what the fuck that is. Internal destruction. Wisconsin hospital employee who intentionally spoiled more than 500 vaccine doses is arrested, police say. Wow.
If you look, dude. If you look deeper into the article, it goes into how his wife told investigators how he was a major conspiracy theorist and some kind of religious nut or something.
Right-wing Trump supporter. But it's not mainstream, though. Maybe he's not, so it's not mainstream.
I don't know.
Wow. What a dick.
Or hero, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Who knows how many of those 500 people would have died?
Yeah. So, okay. I'm going to look up article. Biden says COVID. Let's see what it says here. Oh, what was the fucking direct quote that he said? It was. I sent it to you guys. Yeah, go damn it, gang. Oh my goodness. That's not going to be good. Oh, here it is. There is nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months. Biden says no change And COVID. Let's see if we can find an article that says that supports it. Yeah, here we go. Fox News. I mean, I guess you could take it with a grain of salt, with there's a lot of... Biden says nothing we can do to change pandemic trajectory in coming months.
What's the context,
Let's see here.
If we fail to act, there will be a wave of evictions and foreclosures in the coming months.
Fred Smith here told us the
as
B&H
this
photo helped
pandemic
change.
rages on, because there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months.
Ooh, he said it. He said there's nothing you could do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next few months. Ooh. But hey, we got to be fact checked on that because we just took only a 13-second clip. All right, so let's make sure we make that clear. It was only a 13-second tidbit. So, taking out, more context needed.
Yeah.
You couldn't hear that though, right? But I got it recorded, so it's on there. But yeah, so what's changed? Anything changed? Anything big? I mean, I guess we can allow transgender women to get female scholarships, athletic scholarships in the universities now. So that's cool. Just saying, hey, men could do it better than women still. What a fucking joke,
Yep. Now they're doing the reverse now, where female to male, I guess, can play in male sports now. I don't know.
Yeah, there's
some fucking tranny.
The only controversy that I've seen when it involves a trans male in female sports. Okay, so all right, so the articles are kind of misleading. You can search for it, a men and female wrestling, but what it was is that in Texas, and this is where I believe the state it happened, there was this young girl in high school. She's gotten the championship. I can fucking find it. Hold on.
Talking about the wrestler?
I can find it for you. Mac Beggs is an American high school wrestler from Euless, Texas. Beggs is a trans man, meaning he was signed female at birth. Born 1999. Nationality American. And this is just according to Wikipedia. It just explains. Is a trans man, meaning he was signed female at birth. State athletic rules only allowed him to compete in the league for his assigned sex, right? So, this guy, chick, whatever, was taking hormone therapy and injecting himself or herself with testosterone for a few years and competing against women that were not. And was just spanking ass. It says in 2018 he won the second consecutive state title, defeating Chelsea Sanchez again. In 2019, Beggs was featured on the ESPN 30 for 30 documentary short film Mac Wrestles, and as part of the feature-length documentary Changing the Game. So, yeah, I mean, that's the only case that we see otherwise. But, however, let that person go into men's sports then. That I have not seen any cases of. So when is that going to happen? Like we talked about before on the previous episode, I had a soldier that was female, but wanted to transition to male. Had the reduction, taking surgery, everything, hormone therapy. But definitely was not on board and trying to take the PT test at the fucking male bracket, though,
Imagine that. No, I just, I don't have all the information in front of me, but it was a few days ago. I read an article to where they're talking about what you just spoke about, where basically girls can go play with boys, or you know what I mean. It sounded really, really fucked up coming out like that. Sports, athletic.
Yeah, so girls competing in boys' sports.
Yeah.
or not boys, not biological boys into women's sports, or
Right. So biological females, or no, sorry, biological. Fuck. Damn it. I got.
so it'd be biological females into biological boy sports or male sports.
Yes, that.
Let's see if I can find anything. Biological female in male sports. Biological, no, that's male sports. Let's see if I can find anything. It says new bill would ban biological males from women's sports. Okay, we know that one. It's already being comparing athletic performances. Debate heats up over biological males competing. Yeah, you see, I don't think you're going to see much, or if any at all, biological females turning male going into male sports, because that's still a big hurdle. And here's the reason why. Because I know people on the fucking left wanted to, say, "Oh, it's science. Gotta follow the science, guys. Follow the science." Well, this is what the fucking science says. Is that, and you can study this. This is fucking fact. Not no fucking 28,000 fucking different genders shit. It's when you are born. You see, when you're in utero. I don't have to go that far back. But anyway, when you were born, obviously, you're going to have organs that depict whether you're male or female, right? You're either going to have a uterus and ovaries, or you're going to have testicles and a penis, right? There's basically nothing in between. There's a very few of the outliers that have both. But, however, genetically, they still have some sexual... Anyway...
Well, you can correct that one.
But you have to do a genetic
grow up.
Yeah, so when it comes to hermaphroditia, you have to do a genetic search on them, make sure that they're XY or XX, and then get rid of the organ that's not supposed to match. There is cases of XXY where there's an extra chromosome, I think. I have to look into that. I'm not going to dig deep into that bullshit. But anyway... But still, it's an outlier. So basically, if you have one of these two sets of organs, it produces a hormone specific to that organ, right? And so it goes down to even on how body heat is managed, on how circulatory systems managed, even on how bones are even built, right? So if you have more estrogen in your body when you're growing up, there are going to be certain sockets in your hips that are going to detach naturally. And then not like with men, right? So that's when archaeologists, when they go and dig into a fucking hole in somewhere in Egypt, they don't go, "Oh, this person was definitely non-binary and a fucking A10 warthog." You know what I mean? They say, "Yeah, this person's a female." They base it off of the structure of the hips. Mm-hmm. Because it has certain parts of the hips have to detach. And again, you could look this up. I'm not going to go into what fucking bones they are, but it's basically for childbearing. Now, when you've gone through that process, this even 10 years, 12 years into life, and then decide, introducing testosterone has had scientific studies shown that it causes so much harm to the female's body that more of them regret have done that. And again, they're not going to have an edge over men, so that's why you don't see that over, in biological men's sports. But the problem is, and this is what's been pissing me off, which I think everyone should be pissed off about, is why would you allow biological men that turn female to compete and overtake women's sports, scholarships, and compete side by side with only women when you don't see the opposite occurring on the other side? Haven't we fought for or hasn't our women in America fought for so goddamn long to get their rights and to be treated fairly, equally, or equity, or whatever, to have an equal opportunity as men, and to only for the government to say, guess what, men can even do what you're doing better, still. You know, and to me
I mean,
that message is fucked up.
Bruce Jenner just having transition. You know, was the Woman of the Year. Was
Woman of the Year. Yeah. Caitlyn Jenner, Woman of the Year. Men can even do that better. You know that dude had still knocked up a woman. He just had a kid, or she had a kid with a woman recently.
I thought he had everything removed.
No. I
guess not that committed. He just wanted some attention.
Look, I'm going to DuckDuckGo it. Caitlyn Jenner as child.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking about this, and I think I know why they promote it so hard.
Why is that?
And people are going to say it's a conspiracy theory. But basically, because women's sports suck. they're not that good. Have you watched the WNBA? My God.
No, never watched the WNBA. The one female sports that I do enjoy watching, though, is female soccer. I do see a difference in the performance, but overall, because it's not like a high-scoring game in soccer anyway, it's very entertaining. Like the Women's World Cup, I watch the hell out of that. I just because I like the World Cup, it's something entertaining. But no, I don't watch the WNBA. I don't. What's kind of an intense sport to watch is college softball. You ever watch female softball?
Yes.
Damn, that shit is hardcore, bro. I mean, because they have to throw underhand, and they can't throw overhand, so they fucking twist and they let that ball go fast as fuck.
I don't know how they don't dislocate their shoulders.
Yeah. Hold on, let me close the door real quick. But one time I was in Reno and I was sitting there and I'm like, I never thought I'd say this, but look at the ass of that third baseman. But
it's just like watching beach volleyball, female beach volleyball.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't watched female hockey, so I can't contest to that.
Is there female hockey?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the United States female hockey team is the reigning gold medal champions. We're better than Canada when it comes to female hockey. Yeah, we're better in the world when it comes to female soccer. We got the World Cup twice in a row. So we're pretty. When it comes, see, here's the thing, and I wish people would realize this when it comes to female. I mean, I get it that female sports are not as. It's not as really competitive because I think people like to watch kind of the violent aspect when it comes to sports, into the sense that men tend to get more aggressive and wouldn't mind fighting. You've seen fights on baseball fields, soccer fields,
hockey, obviously.
Hockey, yeah, definitely. And then women definitely have a different approach to when it comes to violence than men do. But the United States really leads the world in women's sports. And I'm surprised that we don't really recognize that as much. We've beaten the Canadians multiple times, the Russians multiple times when it comes to hockey in the Olympics. No one on female World Cup has gotten as many World Cups as us. On the male side, we haven't even gotten one because we suck when it comes to the male side. But the female side, we're the reigning champs. No one in the world can fuck with us when it comes to the World Cup on women's sports, on women's soccer. So it's kind of interesting. So, now we have to introduce men, which, funny story, when it comes to the World Cup, there was an Iranian team that got disqualified from the World Cup because they found out that half the team was really men underneath all the all the shit. It was kind of funny. But I would say women's UFC is probably the most popular women's sport in America. I would say maybe that. Holly Holm,
who doesn't like seeing women beat the hell out of each other, though? Plus, you know what? If one of us got into a fight with them, they'd probably kick our asses.
Oh, yeah. In the UFC, yeah. Oh, yeah. Amanda Nunes would definitely fuck me up and make me her bitch. And I'm fine with that. Yes, daddy. Or mommy, whatever. but
Buddy. You slow down the
but like
drinks.
it's true though. But like look at like what does it take to actually get a woman to the point that she wants to fuck someone up? You know, that takes a lot, and it's going to take a lot of anger in return to even make her get to that point. You know, so maybe that's more extreme. Like it's like think about it in high school when you saw the girls fight, you were like, oh fuck, man, they grabbing the hair, they fucking smacking this shit, they get fucking
hair
dirty,
flying.
bro. Here's and I think this is actual like really supported. Hold on. But I think this is there's even like evidence that supports that like when women get in a fight or when like they fight in a different way than men. Men just want to smash and they just they turn red. They fucking just want to like they see blood and just want to like smash, smash, smash. Hulk smash. Women will fight
That's
in a way, huh?
That's the testosterone.
Yeah, women would fight in a way that they would try to scratch your eyes and want to fuck your face up, like fucking, make you look ugly, or like pull razor blades and fucking cut you on the face and shit like that. Like they're more, I don't know, it's like vindictive because they want to make you look ugly, and shit like that when they want to fuck up another woman. So it's interesting with psychology about that.
Well, I mean, men, males we were created with testosterone. That's what gives us our aggressiveness. That's what makes us bigger and stronger and more bone density. We're tanks, essentially.
Yeah.
And I was going to bust your chops earlier whenever you were talking about, archaeology and distinguishing men and female or men and women skeletons. I'll be like, hey, so what if they don't have hips? What if it's just like an arm bone or something? They would check bone density.
Bone density, yeah.
To determine it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just how we are. So we're natural protectors, natural warriors, hunters.
Even eye sockets. Eye sockets can could be a detection of men and women too.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's good.
Men's eye sockets tend to be more deeper and within the skull. Women's are not.
That's it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So when we grow up, what do? We wrestle, we fight, but you don't take it personally because that's just ingrained in your DNA. Females are meant to be the nurturers, nurses. They take care of the family essentially. Now that's not to say that they're weak, because pushed into a corner, they're going to protect their family.
Yeah.
So I think that's where a lot of that comes from because, you mentioned high school. It was usually over what? A boy.
Yeah.
Some kind of resource like that hoe ass bitch, stepped on my shoe or some stupid.
Yeah.
So I mean, they will definitely fight, but they take it on a more personal level. I mean, because men, even if we don't know each other, we could fight and then
become friends after.
Yeah.
Actually, more likely than not, you're more likely to become friends right after fighting, or than
you go grab a beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, kind of forgot what point I was trying to make there. I think I made it pretty clear though.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's why, because we were talking about competitiveness in sports.
Well, yeah.
Between female.
There's a clear scientific and physical difference between biological men and women. That's what it comes down to. Now, yes, there are anomalies where men are born and they make more estrogen than like other men. You see, the human body creates both, right? The only way that one is predominant over the other depends on the organs that you have.
Yep.
And so that's where, you can go into depth about homosexuality, thinking that homosexual men are just, they create more estrogen than other men, and I don't know the scientific background about it. I don't know if it's been a decades-long debate if homosexuality is a choice or you're born with it. I don't know. It doesn't really fucking matter. But
I'll say this real quick before we get too deep into it. I have known some very manly homosexuals.
yeah,
I've also met some very effeminate ones, but I've also met very effeminate straight men that you can tell the estrogen valve is just stuck on wide open.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm more inclined to think that it's a choice and not something that you're just born with, because you know whether or not you want to see one up close.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because it's like, well, people just are born gay. They don't ever like become gay and then like turn back. Well, it's like, well, there are cases where that happens, and then there's cases where it doesn't, So it's
Well, I'll bring up my cousin. She I won't give names though, because I love you. Uh, she liked girls from basically since she knew that she can like people like that.
yeah,
And about 6-7 years ago, she meets a man and they're married, and I think they have a kid or two now.
really.
Yeah, so I mean that
Wow.
that to me is
Or
just like
and you see the opposite too. You see sometimes men go into like their 40s, have like a family of 5, and they're like, I like men now.
yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
strange, right? I mean, it is what it is. It just is.
I mean, what I mean, whether it's a choice or whether it's chemical imbalances or whatever, however you want to put it,
yeah,
or maybe a little bit of both.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I know I love veg.
Giggity. But anyway, yeah. I mean, they. It's just I'm so sick and tired of hearing from the left that like it's science. I have to follow the science. From people that don't even know the fucking science. From one thing, and someone really put it so eloquently is that science is meant to be questioned and challenged always, because if it is not, we're never progressing. If we want to talk about science, over 100 years ago, they didn't have any idea of what atoms were. They thought it was just matter was just a blob of clay. But we challenged it. We always questioned it. So to say, and the Democrats on the left make it to like they don't have to believe in God, but God now is science. Science is the new God. And if you don't believe in science, you're the heretic. You know what I mean? And to me, it's terrible. It's terrible.
All it takes is for one person to improve the entire scientific community wrong, because before the atom was discovered, people thought that the Earth was flat.
Yeah, for centuries, people thought that the sun revolved around the Earth, and when someone came in and said no, we revolve around the sun, they were arrested.
Yeah.
They challenged it. You know what I mean? So this is like, again, it goes back to the human behavior. This kind of just like epiphany memes right now. Is that if they could, I'm sure they would want to say, "Oh no, they're denying science. Put them in jail." They're denying. They're going against the church. Put them in jail. It's the same shit. Human, like just the way humans are, is you see it just repeating. It's just a different year, different amounts of technology, but calling the same thing. But that's what they would do. They would like, hey, deplatform. They don't believe in science. They're saying, how can this doctor say that coronavirus doesn't live outside the body? Take down the videos. You know what I mean? Like, you can't challenge coronavirus. You can't challenge COVID-19 at all. It's supposed to. Because what standard are we living on, man?
Sir, you sound like a bigot right now.
One thing that really pissed me off is when I don't remember the guy's name that said that we need to give the vaccine to elderly people of color first, because white people of the elderly community are a higher number than those that are colored people or minorities in the elderly community. And not only that, but he said that we need to give frontline workers the vaccine ahead of elderly white people because more people of color are frontline workers, so they need it more. They turned coronavirus and the vaccine into, let's give it to people of color first because they're more susceptible of dying. Like, well, you think the virus just is able to kill you more because of the melanin level in your skin, or is it because your health, overall health? You know what I mean? And they put
Well,
this narrative. It's so ugly.
we could go back to last week our conversation about how they started dismantling the nuclear family in Black America.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just because it was before that it was Planned Parenthood where Margaret Sanger said we need to eradicate them completely. Then you have getting rid of the nuclear family, which creates all sorts of problems. Then you have the CIA bringing in drugs into the country, crack cocaine, in the 70s and 80s.
Facts. Yeah, all facts.
That's the classified.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're trying to complete what they started with Margaret Sanger and completely just obliterating Black America.
What I believe they are trying to do, as in the left and the Democrats, is that they know that if they start giving out more handouts and start relying more on the teat of the government, that these people are never going to find any motivation or any reason to get up and rise above their current situation and become something significant or someone significant. So it's like dumbing down. It's like they want to dumb down. I don't want a person of color, rising up or challenging me, Let's just keep handing it out,
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because today in the Zoom meeting I had where Charlie Kirk was the speaker, he mentioned the same thing, but he was referring to the coronavirus stimulus checks. He says governments.
Sorry, one moment.
So that meeting with Charlie Kirk today, he mentioned it, but in referencing it to the coronavirus stimulus checks, and he said something that I never heard said in such a way. He said the government will keep handing you money to keep you where you are and never to advance another level. I said, damn, I never heard it said like that before.
Yeah, I've been saying that shit for years, man. I've been saying that shit for years because you're going to rely on the government tit. They're never going to give you enough to get you so that you can rise above, to start your own business, to go to fucking school or any of that shit, man. They're going to give you just enough to fucking live, and then you don't have to do shit. Because that's how it dumbs down the group of people that they want to dumb down. They don't because they fear it. They fear it. I think it's a big conspiracy about that because for so many years there, it's been the Democrats that have been pro Jim Crow. Many years, and I get into this argument with my friend of mine. You remember Bratton? I get into this argument with him all the time. He says, "Oh, hey, Lou, when did the party switch? Because you know that the party switched back since Republicans in Abraham Lincoln days and are not the same Republicans. They've been Democrats today." And I said, "No." I said, "Point me." Like he believes, and he says that there's been articles written about it, opinion articles, by the way, and supported by some fact. But the belief is that the Republican Party that started in the 1850s, late 1850s, if they would have been the same Republican Party today, they'd be the Democratic Party. That there was between that time and now, the party lines and the party beliefs switched. There's a part of it that is true, but the majority of it is not. And here's my evidence that supports that. Anyone could go online and you can Wikipedia lists of governors throughout states that were big Jim Crow states in the 60s and all the way from post-Civil War all the way up into the 80s even. States would believe this. Post-Civil War all the way up into the 80s, and I've looked this up. States like Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, those are the ones I looked up. Democratic governors all the way up into the 80s. George Wallace, by the way. People don't... You have to look this up, and I'm telling you, it's not a fucking lie.
Segregation tomorrow, segregation forever.
George Wallace was... Yeah. George Wallace was forced by JFK to integrate the schools because this was after Brown versus Board of Education, that where the National Guard was brought in to the state of Alabama while George Wallace was governor during the time, and he was definitely pro-segregation at the time. Now get this. He ran for president in the 70s. He was shot. Obviously lived. Motherfucker became governor again in the early 80s.
Hang on a second. Last time I saw it was right there. Well, he's gotta edit stuff. This isn't live. Okay, yeah. So
we can all agree George Wallace was a segregationist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Here it is. Member of First Gentleman of Alabama, January 16th. First Gentleman of... So his wife was even governor of the state in 1967 and 1968. I did not fucking know that. Wow. All right, so here it is. In office, January 14th, 1963 to 1967. He was in office again, 1971 to 1979. And then in office again, 1983 to 1987. So you mean to tell me, and I get in this argument with him all the time, I'm like, you mean to tell me that before 1987, that Democrats were not believing in segregation? You know, I mean, this man literally had Jim Crow laws in his state, for fuck's sakes, and was forced by the federal government to fucking, to unfuck it. And then he still is governor all the way up until 1987, and he's dead in 1998 at the age of 79. This guy... But look at all the southern states, all the way up into the 80s. You can even say, even Jimmy Carter was governor of Georgia in the 70s. So the South was very enriched with Democrats. But after, in the 90s, it wasn't until the post-Reagan era where that's when it kind of switched, where the control of the South was because the Democrats used to be for the people, the little guys, you know, wanted to be for the workers. They abandoned it. They abandoned the workers, abandoned the coal miners, abandoned the steel workers. And in the 90s, ever since fucking Clinton got into office, that's when it really just switched. And so the Democratic Party has this long history of racism and Jim Crow, but fuck, we can't talk about that though, right?
So where you mentioned that you think that some of it's true, or mostly true, mostly false, but some true. Why would you say some of it?
Okay, so there was the Republican shift in opinion, right? One example is what I just said, was about the working people, the working class, blue-collar people. That really switched. It didn't switch in the early 30s or in the early 20s. The change did happen when it was the abandonment of like the working class people of the Democratic Party, and then the Republicans kind of like came swapped in. This is why I said it's true, because Now you're never going to have a fucking Democrat in the office of the governor office as a governor of Alabama here, at least in the short time. So what happened in between there, in between the 80s and in between now? Some people are believing that it was the Democratic Party shifted somewhere in the late 1800s, and they said no, that's not true, or the Republican Party, the same thing. The Republican Party, still even to this day, is still, you could say, anti-abolitionist or abolitionists.
They're abolitionists, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's not necessarily the party at the top changed.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that more individuals changed their opinion, and I don't think I really don't think the Democrats ever had small business, the little guy, in mind, because they only cared about the little guy who was white. The Republicans, while they massively supported big industry, that also helped the little guy.
Yeah.
So in essence, they've been for the little guy. Yeah, they're for the rich guy, but the rich guy employs the little guy.
Yeah. Well, we're about what's equal and fair, right? And what's about the big guys that's doing is that they're putting in a lot of risk, right? We need the big guys. We need the big guys to help the little guys. That's fact, right? I mean, I'm sure most of us can agree on that.
Because are you going to put up the risk and all the money and the resources? I know.
I don't have the capital to build a fucking rocket to go into space. I also don't have the capital to create logistics to give people food and the necessities that they need during a pandemic at their front door, you know?
Yeah. So we need the big guys, and by having the big guys, we're helping the little guys. So the Democrats never had the little guys' interest at heart, who weren't white. So I don't think there was a shift at all. I think they're the exact same party as in the 1860s.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I'm just saying that what I'm saying is that there's minor parts about it that changed. Like I said, Democrats used to be for the working guys. They used to be, as a matter of fact, there was at one point where Democrats were even for pro-speech, free speech. It was Democrats that were trying to get, well, I guess that's kind of hard to say, but I mean, like in colleges in the 90s or even in the 80s, there was a lot of, it goes back and forth. To me, in my opinion, the system really goes back and forth. We really see now that that Democrats are the ones that are trying to shut down speech. They want to shut down speech. Yeah.
I mean, civil rights.
You see, it goes down a rabbit hole because you can get so many examples. Be like, well, the party shifted in the fucking 1890s. Well, you have a fucking Democratic president that also put Japanese people in fucking camps. So, but then you have a Democrat that fucking desegregates the military in 1947. You know what I mean? But I think that the Republican Party still has this consistency, and for the most part.
Because, the Democrats, we've already discussed Jim Crow. We got to get into civil rights. MLK and his supporters were just marching peacefully.
Yeah.
And they got dogs sicked after them, water hoses, or fire hoses.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a time in history, but I'll definitely look it up where that happened in a Republican run area.
Now, yeah, okay. Did you ever hear that shit happening in California? Like, okay, were there like race riots going on in California during that time in the 60s, about segregation? No, right?
Well, there definitely was race riots in Watts. Well, there was the Watts riots.
This is going to bring up the point that I'm making. I'm going to pull up the list of California governors. By Wikipedia. Here we go. All right.
I think they were Republican for a long time.
1953, Goodwin Knight, Republican. 1959 to 1967 was Pat Brown, a Democrat. But from 1967 to 1975 was a Republican, Ronald Reagan. 1943 to 1953 was Earl Warren, and he was a Republican. 1934 to 1939, Frank Merriam, Republican. Before him, Republican. Before him, Republican. For him, Republican. For him, Republican.
Yeah,
For him, Independent. So yeah. So more Republican governors in California than there have been Democrats.
Yeah, they're an anti-slave state. So, what the Democrat?
Anti-slave state. Great. And we're talking about the Missouri Compromise, right? So what you had list of Kansas governors, because Kansas was an abolition state. Again, you're going to find. I mean, to me, it's interesting when I see this trend. List of governors of Kansas. Let's see during. Fuck. Here we go. All right. We're going to look at post Civil War. First governor. Holy shit. There's no way that fucking is. Oh, I was looking at. Okay, 1861. From 1861, Republican, 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 Republican. First Democrat was 1883, and then 1885, Republican, Republican, Independent, Republican, Independent, Republican, 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 Republican. Democrat, 1913. Then again, Republican, 1915. So during Jim Crow years, let's go through that, which is this all post Civil War, from 1939 all the way to 1957, Republican. From 61 to 67, Republican. 75 through 79, Republican, and then it's been back and forth every other term since then. I'm telling you, it's a trend. You look at states that did not have Jim Crow were dominated by Republican governors.
Yeah. So here's something that's going to really bake your noodle. Why did the South turn red and the North turn blue? Because here I had a theory, but then I thought about it again. I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. So my theory is all the Republican Northerners moved south and turned it red, possibly. I don't know. But then again, I never heard of a Southerner. I know they exist, but you don't hear about it.
I'm not saying no. This may be it. I'm saying there could be a contribution too. Okay, and here's what I think is that it starts with our institutions of education, our universities, right? I believe that there was a shift in the school systems that were going on in the North and the South that brought in a more socialist, more liberal ideology where cities like New York are concentrated with more liberals. We're just going to use New York City. There's other examples. You can see this with basically virtually every majority of populous cities. You could even say Dallas, Austin, Houston could be a little bit more Democrat. Maybe not Houston so much, but even in the southern states. But you don't see that in Alabama, Mississippi, because the institutions and the colleges bring in academia. They bring in other people from all over the country, all over the world. They contribute to the academia there. You don't quite see that in the academia when it comes to the University of Alabama. You don't kind of see that when it comes to UMass, or you know what I mean. But you get like a mixture of different kind of cultures and different kind of people, and then it kind of like bleeds out from there. That's what I kind of think. I think because there is no New York City now in Alabama. You know, you don't see that. What is Montgomery the biggest city there? Mississippi, Jackson's probably the biggest. I don't know for sure. No one really thinks about it. You don't ever fucking hear about Mississippi. No one fucking never hears about that. West Virginia is the same thing, you know. But why is Virginia blue but West Virginia red? It's I don't know. You know, it's interesting because I think there's more than one answer that's involved.
Well, in the case of Virginia being blue now, it's mainly big cities that voted blue. And
That I can almost tell you that's because that's almost a direct cause of people moving from north to south.
Yeah, so I mean, you could say that about any state, really. I mean, the further in the sticks you go, the redder it's going to be. You know, these high population centers are going to be blue. I don't know why, and I don't know why a lot of Black America and Latino America sides with Democrats, given their history. I mean, you brought up academia, and that could very well be it.
Let me break this. Let me break this down because there. Oh, actually, I actually read a recent article too about like Washington, the state of Washington's politics. See, here in Washington, we have like broken up in districts, and I don't know if it works for the same in other states, but I have to look it up. But in every district, you get 2 representatives and 1 senator, right?
Oh, okay.
I don't know how it works in Texas for state government, that is. Up until 1991 in my state, in majority of counties here, used to have either a combination of you wouldn't have all one party in one district. For example, now you see district in Tacoma having 2 Democrat representatives and a Democrat senator. Up until 1991, most counties were always mixed, either a Republican senator and 2 Democrat, any combination. The districts were not represented by a single party. Majority of districts here in the state up until 1991 were represented by a mixture of both parties in some combination of the senator and the 2 representatives. Now, you don't see that. Maybe 3 counties or 4 counties in my state have a mixture of that representation, right? Is that a problem? Is it more healthy to have one district have a mixture of not just one party, but a mixture of 2 parties representing it in the Senate and in the House? The point that I'm getting at, let's take for the election in 1964, right? It was Lyndon B. Johnson. He only lost 6 states. The 6 states he lost were Arizona, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. He won Texas. He won Oklahoma. You know what I mean? Like you won't see that now. You won't see like that super majority. But
LBJ is from Texas, so I would imagine he would have won it.
Yeah, well, there was also controversy on him winning that his senatorial races in 1948. Did you hear about the Box 13 scandal? That they found like ballots hidden somewhere in like Box 13 that were either in his favor or in his opponent's favor. But let's take a look at.
That's also something that's been a problem with the Democrat Party is they've always cheated this voting system.
Less than within 16 years later, general election for Ronald Reagan in 1980. Only states that Ronald Reagan lost: Minnesota, Georgia, West Virginia, and what is that? Delaware, Maryland. Yeah, that's it. He won New York and California. A Republican won the supermajority of all the fucking states. I mean, he won 489 electoral votes. Since then, ever since Clinton, it's been 50-50 split and been short. I'm telling you, I don't know like what it is, but I'm like, but you like even in the 2024 election, I can almost guarantee you're not going to see someone losing by someone winning by 46 states or 45 states. You know what I mean? It's almost unheard of. Yeah. But what is it? What is the cause of that? Is what I want to know.
I don't know. I have a pretty firm belief, until I'm proven wrong, that Trump was the last Republican president that this country is ever going to have.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't he be? I mean, they literally.
Hold on one.
So it's I'm pretty firm believer that Trump is our last ever Republican president, or at least somebody that ran as Republican.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I said, the Democrat Party has been cheating elections forever. But it's only now that not only have they been caught, but they also have rubbed it in our faces and used the media against anybody who says otherwise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge smear campaign, and there's so much evidence that has been shown, but yet there's no evidence. So I think now that they know they can get away with it, I don't think there's ever going to be another Republican president again, because another reason why is Republicans don't know how to play as dirty as Democrats, because let's face it, they're not totally united. Neither is the Democrats, but they're a lot more organized than Republicans.
Yeah. And let me say this to people that are watching, or may watch, is, do I think that the election was stolen? I do. I believe it was. But it's not in the sense that it was necessarily fraudulent, overly, of like creating votes. I think there's a lot more to that we don't know, and that we're just like going on with, because for one thing, I don't trust the fucking media, mainstream media, at all. Basically, I question shit off of Fox News a lot too. So it's not like I'm, partisan on that. But to me, it seemed too convenient that they were quick to close down and dispute voter fraud, voter irregularity. To me, that seemed a little bit odd. But, however, what I do think that they fucked around with, is that they created false narratives. They lied to the people of America, saying that Donald Trump was the cause of fucking 200,000 plus lives. Donald Trump this, and like fucking. They basically, they based their entire campaign of staying in the fucking basement and saying Trump bad this, Trump bad, and had the echo chamber of every fucking major news network that's able to reach the majority of the people echoed the same fucking things over and over. And then the guy, like I said before, has the balls to say, oh, Trump knows that if you keep lying to the people, oh, goddamn.
Now, Fox News has, they're turncoats. They've turned to the left because they have, when everything happened, they were not on Trump's side at all. They were saying, they kept repeating, oh, Biden won. Biden won. And I think that it was to make Republicans, just throw up their hands and say, well, we tried. Nice voting, guys. So that there was no questioning it.
They created, they stole the election in a sense that they created lies. They manipulated the people, apparently 80 million people, enough to believe that Joe Biden was going to come in to fix this. That in order to fix racism, you got to put a fucking millionaire old fucking white guy in the office in order to fix racism. I don't know how the fuck that manages. I said this, I'm saying this to my wife. My wife believes this too. And, she kind of was different at first. Donald Trump did such a good job that when the dirty fucking swamp rats in D.C. are trying everything that they can to collude with other states to get him to lose money, to not run for office again, to impeach a guy that's not even in fucking office. I don't know how the hell that's going to work. That he did a good job when he's been fucking up the establishment, man. The establishment. No one, the man even said on live TV, I mentioned the military war complex. The last Republican that did that and he warned us, was Eisenhower in 1959. Because it's true. And it's not just on one side. It's both sides that fucking get money from this. The problem is that, and it just shocks me. And I know I'm just going every fucking direction. It's like, the ominous bill, the government funding bill. Oh, they're fucking sending money over here to this country. We're fucking sending money over to that country. We're fucking sending money over to this country. Bitch, we've been doing that for years. They've been doing that for years, man. Because there's a process of laundering money, taxpayers' money, that gets right back into their fucking pockets. Because there's lobbyists that say, and talking about fucking lobbyists, the insulin, by the way. Insulin. Trump went on TV and he didn't see this much at all. He said, we're doing a healthcare reform. We're capping the cost of insulin at $35 or something like that. It was in the 30s of dollars a month for someone that needed insulin. Find out now that there's PACs. There's fucking the major insulin company paid over $1 million in campaign funds to Biden. Biden freezes it. So now we're going to be eliminating that cap of $30-something to people, so that that money fucking circles right the fuck back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Without that, it was what I think it was like in the $600 or something. It was something retarded.
Something
like
ridiculous.
I don't remember if it was in the hundreds or thousands, but it was it was pretty stupid.
Let's see here. How much does
Now-
insulin cost? Here's 27 brands.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem with brand new medications being expensive at first because, the pharmaceutical companies put up a lot of overhead R&D talent to create it.
Yeah.
So they got to get their money back. Otherwise, they go tits up.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a huge fan of the medical industry, but I'm also a capitalist.
Yeah. Fox 8. Biden admin freezes Trump HHS rule meant to lower insulin prices. Oh, here we go. Here's another article. So, well, this is two different. Fox 8. Okay, so this is News LA. Look at News LA showing the truth. Biden administration freezes Trump's directive to lower insulin prices. But you're not going to fucking hear it, man. I'm telling you. Fucking swamp rats. Goddamn fucking weasels, man. Fuck us all, bro.
They're going to blame... He's going to say, well, that was Trump's doing.
No, he doesn't have to say anything at all because it's not going to get covered. That's the thing. It's not going to get fucking covered. Not even going to get fucking talked about, man.
It'll get talked about in local media whenever diabetics start bitching that they went from $30-something. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll fucking circle around.
Suddenly, because your health care doesn't cover it now. Because it's like $600 a freaking shot.
Yeah, it sees the temporary delay in the effective date of this final rule is necessary to give department officials the opportunity for further review and consideration of new regulations consistent with the memorandum of January 20th, blah, fuck, kiss my ass, from the assistant to the president and chief of staff entitled Regulatory Freeze Pending Review. What in the flying fuck, bro?
What is there?
Then it goes, you see, I'm not fucking lying here. As far as it says, the big three pharmaceutical giants, Eli Lilly and companies. Okay, Eli Lilly, right? The number one distributor of Eli can donate to Biden. Let's find out. Let's fucking find out. I'll even use Google.
Of donations.
Let's see here. Eli Lilly donate to Biden. Well, I'm gonna have to use DuckDuckGo, I guess. Because he got communist fucking Google. That's not going to. Oops. No. Right here. As Trump touts his great COVID drugs, a pharma crash, Eli and Company. Here's the letter Amazon sent Biden. Biden's big test. Where the hell did I fucking read that? That Eli Lilly was the one that fucking donated a whole bunch of money. They did donate money to GOPs as well, but it was far less. It was like $46,000 to fucking Mitch McConnell.
Oh, well, there you
But
go.
then it was over $1 million to Biden. Yeah.
There you go. It's McConnell.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. Man, we fucked up on that one. I'm not gonna lie, we fucked up on that one. Re-electing that guy. We fucked up on that one.
He's been doing the same thing for decades, man.
Okay, Lilly suspends. This is from an article. Lilly suspends contributions. Meanwhile, Indianapolis-based drug company Eli Lilly also said it is withholding campaign contributions from lawmakers who voted against the presidential election certification. Fucking. Right here. All Pat gave. Here it is. Hold on. According to Federal Election Commission data, Political Action Committee gave a total of $359,000 in the last election cycle. Eli Lilly's PAC gave $1.6 million. Bio's PAC, and I think, like I said, the big chunk of that was to the Biden election. Funny. We're all just fucking clowns. Funny.
I thought there was a cap on how much you could donate.
Oh, cap on presidential donations. Let's see. Is there?
Because isn't that what Dinesh D'Souza got arrested for? He
Yeah.
gave too much.
Yep.
Gave too much to a campaign.
It says donor PAC multi-candidate $5,000 per election.
Yeah.
What? Really? Interesting ways to support federal candidate. Contribution limits. Really? Oh, it says $106,000 per account per year to additional National Party Committee accounts. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see that. I don't know. Political Action Committee PAC, multi-candidate, $106,000 per account per year to additional National Party Committee accounts. But I'm sure that they have fucking ways of getting around it, of like, this amount goes to Kamala Harris, this amount goes to Biden, this amount goes to BLM. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's probably ways that they funnel that money still, when it still follows the laws. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Or it's because of individuals. That's probably what it's from. Or it's because of individuals reaching that cap where the employees of that business total that amount because it's still considered that individual. You know what I mean?
But is it really? Is that what's happening?
Maybe, maybe not. You know, they're just creating dead people's accounts and fucking donating on their behalf.
Or is it just one asshole who is bribing his candidate of choice, who's going to play ball?
Did you know this? Ilhan Omar, her current husband was no, her current husband is this white dude that was worked on her campaign, owns a campaign firm, like a consultation firm, and was already married. This last election cycle, she funneled over like $1 million or something like that to her husband's consulting firm. His consulting firm was a firm that was initially hired for her campaign. So there was this whole, she was taking donations, funneling it into his business, getting it right fucking back. You know, but that's not, can't talk about that.
Yeah, I can't talk about the obvious conflict of interest there.
Yeah, the fucking obvious crime. No, not when it comes to, no.
I mean, that's just like the Clinton Foundation.
Bro, they receive tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per speech that they fucking, take part in. It's ridiculous. Same thing with the Obamas. It's the same thing.
Yeah. It's you remember that interview she did? I can't remember with who or the time frame, but she was basically saying, "Yeah, when we left the White House, we were dead broke. We didn't have any money to our name." And then they go move into their fucking mansion, and bumfuck wherever the fuck.
Talk about Hillary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
weird.
Weird.
No money that you can prove, anyways,
Yeah.
because it's all been laundered to our foundation.
Bro, wasn't that foundation receiving foreign money too?
Yeah, they're receiving money from everywhere.
Foundation.
I want to say, I don't think it was China, but it was definitely a foreign hostile nation, I believe, that was
Well, if
donating.
this is Washington Post, it's definitely true. Oh, and I can't even read it because I got to subscribe. Fuck you, Bezos. Let's see here.
They dedicated to the cause.
Researchers reveal Clinton Foundation is linked to the WHO, the PEPFAR, the Gates Foundation, and the Global Fund.
EPFR.
Yeah, the PEPFAR. I don't know what the fuck that is. Hold on, let's see here.
What is that?
Clinton's charity confirms Qatar's $1 million gift while she was at State Department. Huh. November 4th, 2016. Good for you. Good for you. That's why you fucking lost. Still not president. Yeah, you fucking swamp rat. Clinton Foundation donations plunge, reaching 16-year low. Don't care.
You soul-eating bitch.
Yeah. God, lost to then candidate Donald Trump at 16. Recently released public report. The organization took in just $30.7 million in 2018. Over 7 million. What did they give it to? What did they fucking give it to?
I think there was a report that said they only contribute about 1 to 5% of what they make, and then the rest goes to,
Themselves.
whoever. Yeah. But I think what was it, Haiti, with the earthquake? The Clinton Foundation was there, and yet they have no housing still. They have no infrastructure.
Yeah, nothing.
That happened how long ago?
Sharon Rondeau's The Post and Email cites the Clinton Foundation foreign money laundering scam explained, June 15, 2015. Wow. Probably true. Foreign money even came into the Clinton Foundation from 1,100 plus entities, including from enemies of the United States, such as companies dealing with Iran that are subject to sanctions, Putin, Russia, the C40 Cities Climate Change Leadership Group, the SCK Foundation for Climate Change, Singapore, the Swedish Postcode Lottery, Ericsson Communications, Qatar, the Dutch Postcode Lottery, Saudi Arabia, the President of Kazakhstan, very nice, the Radcliffe Foundation, the UAE, etc. A very large percentage of those tax-free donations eventually ended up in the pockets of the Clintons. Since the source of the donations had been structured to be untraceable back to the foreign donors, that is the textbook definition and the essence of money laundering and influence peddling. Wow.
You don't say.
Yeah, no shit.
So all of those groups that you just mentioned, countries included, should be deemed as terrorist organizations.
I don't know. Saudi Arabia still does public executions, but they're going to say, "Oh, but Trump gave billions of dollars of weapons over to Saudi Arabia as well." I don't know.
president.
So did every other president.
Now, I'm not saying that that's an excuse because that should never happen, ever.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be giving our resources to anybody. I don't care if they're friendly or not.
Think of it in the business way. If I was a country's leader and I was going to be giving money to a country, I would be expecting more in return, right? That's the problem.
Trade deals are fine. Trade deals are fine, but we should never sell weapons because they're almost always turned against us.
Iran-Contra.
Yeah. Not to mention Afghanistan. We backed them in the
Taliban came up and bit us right in the ass on that one. Yeah. It was from 79 to like 85 or 87 or some shit like that. 85.
I think it was 89.
The Russian-Afghanistan war? Let's see.
I could be wrong. I thought it was 10 years, though.
It was 10 years? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 79 to 89.
Yeah. Don't question me, Lou.
Yeah, shit. You're right. That was their Vietnam, buddy. Yeah, welcome to the mountains, motherfucker. Excuse me.
They got fucked up.
Yeah. My wife's mother remembered a lot of people in her high school having to go over there to that war because the Soviets, man, that was a different draft, brother. That was a different draft. That shit was like, you got no choice. I got no legs, sir. You peel potatoes on the fucking shit, bro. We don't care. We need you. There was no fucking protest back then in this fucking Soviet Union. There was no burning draft cards and shit like that. And Muhammad Ali not giving up his title. No. When Gorbachev said that your ass is getting down there, with a big fucking smile on your face too.
That's those poor souls, man. Like. Those poor souls.
Oh
man. Yeah, I mean,
when I was there, dude, right. we were still detonating landmines when I was out there.
I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, there's I don't remember the exact number, but there was something that I seen that said that there was millions or billions of undetonated ordnance in the world.
Oh yeah, in the world, yeah. There's so much in Afghanistan, dude, from the Russians. Where I was up in northern Afghanistan in Kunduz province, and literally our airfield was a very small airfield, but even that airfield still had fucking landmines around that we would occasionally detonate. Yeah, still.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it was when I say airfield, I'm talking like the most primitive fucking airfield that you can even imagine, Not like in Baghdad, where we were at, at the airport.
So no tarmac, it's all sand.
No, it's all sand. Yeah, basically it's all dirt. Yeah, still detonating. You'll hear it, control deck, and just fucking. Okay, got another one. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, that shit is no joke, bro. I think even Southeast Asia has a big issue of landmines still out there.
Yeah.
Partially from us and definitely partially from them too.
Yeah. Lots of or most African nations have
Bro, I don't know, like, even what goes on this day. I remember, I think it was most recently, South Africa was talking about taking farmland away from white owners in South Africa.
Yeah.
I don't know how that ended up. I'm pretty sure they even took it.
I keep, and I say I keep track very loosely. I do follow a channel called Suidlanders.
You said Foodlanders?
It's Suidlander. Basically, in Afrikaans, it means Southlanders.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, but they speak about some things. I don't think anything's passed yet. Even still, and we've been hearing about this for what 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, it was taking farmland from the South African farmers, and with no compensation, mind you.
Yeah.
And giving it to black farmers. The problem with that is if you take somebody from the city and give them a bunch of land and they don't know how to use it correctly, it's not going to grow anything. And now they're in this deep famine.
Yeah.
They're going into this deep famine now. They also have a thing. So you know how we have what's the affirmative action here? Well, They have an extreme form of affirmative action. So you can have, I think it's company, you can't have no more than 10% of whites that's in the population. So the population for entirety of South Africa, you can't have more than 10% working for your company. Everybody else has to be black.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
Let's take a look. South Africa affirmative action says white South Africans complain affirmative action policy is causing them to face discrimination. See if it goes into any detail about the numbers, but I believe it. This is 2016, by the way. Let's see here. 10 years in, this is 2013. South African affirmative action faces criticism. I'm just trying to skim over to try to find if there's any numbers. Affirmative action policies in South Africa and other countries have been designed to address inequality and discrimination and to manage a wide range of diversity in all spheres of life, particularly after the end of the apartheid in 1994. But I'm not going to dispute it. If they're going to take fucking farmland, then yeah, I would say that it's 10%. Because right up here, March 2018, South Africa taking farms from whites is justified because it's not really their land, says EFF spokesman.
Yeah, so because of the affirmative action, their infrastructure has diminished greatly. So now they're having power outages. They're having problems with fresh water distribution, sewage. Basically, the richest nation, or what used to be the richest nation in Africa, is now one of the poorest, or it's getting there. It went from a first world country to a third world country in a matter of 2 decades.
Okay, I wrote down. So here's you talk about infrastructure in Africa, right? So did you know this? That China has been known to invest or let these countries like Somalia, Sudan, and other different African countries, South Africa as well, borrow money from the Chinese government, knowing that they cannot repay it back, and that China has been building interstate or inter-country roadways and bringing in more of their trade, and basically they own the country. The country is so much in debt that they're okay, well, to pay it off, I get to build this. And
well, not only that, they're also bringing in Chinese troops into these places as well. I've only seen a few pictures, and they didn't appear to be armed. So I don't know if they're armed troops or if they're just cadres or something. I don't know, but it's still very concerning because what concerned
me on the topic of Chinese troops was when Justin Trudeau and the Canadian government just recently let us know that that fuckhead allowed like 9 times or like multiple times of Chinese troops to be coming in for like a cross country training exercise in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, excuse the fuck out of me for asking permission, I mean, like, I get it that you're in your own country, but I don't know if you know this, but we're on fucking hostile terms here. It's like, hey, Russia, come on over, and Mexico, have some fucking training missions over here. And look, bro, we're not fucking South Korea, where we're going to have to fucking live with it, bro. No, 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 no. You're going to find out that soon and suddenly we're going to be finding oil fields in Canada if you keep fucking around like that. No, 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 no. You don't be doing that shit. No, I'd be mad as fuck if I was Trump, bro. I'd be mad as a motherfucker. You allowing Chinese troops close to my... Because here's the thing, is that they're not training up in the fucking Yukon. They're not training up in the fucking... up in the northern fucking states or the... fuck, what do they call it? It's not states, it's the territories or whatever. They're training right close to the fucking border where all the concentration of Canadian cities are at, No, you can fuck off with that, dude. I was like,
they're scouting that shit out.
Yeah, yeah, of course, bro, of course. When you got fucking Eric Swalwell as butt fucking a fucking Chinese spy, they're already here, man, dude. If you go to Canada, I've been to Canada a few times. It's like the amount of Asian people there, especially Chinese people, is fucking out of this fucking world. They open it up to China, man. They really do, and they have been for many years. And I've equated the Asian population in Canada to our Hispanic population here in the United States. Because you go to Canada, you go to British Columbia, you go to like any fast food restaurant, it's Asians, man, running that shit. It's Asians working there. And again, it's not about the race. I'm just saying, I'm pointing out what I see. All right, it's not about like saying one's superior over the other. All right, it's not the case. Not about being fucking racist. If people want to fucking throw it at me, it's just the fucking truth. Because Hispanic people don't go up to Canada. They don't. They simply don't. Because they don't border fucking Canada, they border us. And it's the same, but for some reason, they bring in a lot of shipments and a lot of, like, expats from China into Canada. But, yeah, man, that, to me, that fucking shit had just amazed me. But
one of my questions to you would be is, seeing all these Chinese in Canada, how many or how often are they middle-aged or military-aged males?
Good question. A lot of females.
Oh, is it?
Well, I think I don't know. I didn't really pay attention on the gender sex.
Well, I mean, my attitude because you mentioned Russia during that little rant there.
Yeah.
My feelings towards the Ruskies.
Oh, well, your family has been making communists great again since fucking 1917, I'm sure, by killing them.
Do what?
I was saying, your family has been making communists great again since, like, 1917 by killing them.
Oh.
For those who don't know, like, your family is has been known to came from Germany, fighting the Russians, then even went to Vietnam to fight against the commies there.
Well, actually, interesting point that I found out a few years back. My family hails from Switzerland. No, not so much Germany. I mean, they're German Swiss.
Uh-huh.
They're not French Swiss. They're not Spanish Swiss.
Spanish
but what I
Swiss.
was getting at is
making communists great again.
What I was getting at is, I mentioned it when I was speaking to you and the guys. I think we should have a very close relationship with the Ruskies now.
I agree with that.
Because the Russians and the Chinese are on pretty hostile terms right now because China wants to, go into Russia without permission.
Here,
Um,
I've been saying it's so funny that you say. I've been saying that too. I've been saying that to my wife for many years now, and like, and here's the reason why: is that if the United States and Russia has always been in conflict for fucking since the Soviet Union, since post World War II. But if if Russia and the United States came together, we'd rule the world. Simply, if us two nations came together, we'd rule the world. And my point is this: so you have godless heathens in China. You're not allowed to have faith in China because it's communist. The one thing that Putin did do that was good, he is a big supporter of the church in Russia. That is a positive side. Is he kind of a dictator? Yeah. If you oppose him politically, do you get poison in your tea? Yeah. Do you magically jump out of a window if you're a reporter and you report bad on Putin? Yeah. It does happen. But however, there are some good aspects to the Russian culture that we could take good part in. Yeah, and I agree with you. If we had better relations with Russia, we really would together we'd rule the world and make a better place.
Here's the interesting thing about the Russian culture, especially now. They really got back to their roots, pre 1917, roots. Is we're almost cut from the same cloth. Like Russia is now how we used to be, if that makes sense. Without the reporters jumping out of windows, and we were actually free to criticize. But the attitude's the same. It really is. The average Russian and the average American, we're like this, man.
It's true. It's true.
We're cut from the same cloth,
Yeah.
We're without trying to sound racist or bigoted. That's just the Anglo mindset, God and freedom.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. Both believe in hard work. Both believe in Christianity and God. It's there's a lot of ties, and so for many years, you even have the Russian people that have continuously fought and protested against inequality and the bullshit. Because if it wasn't for the Russian people in the first place, the Soviet Union wouldn't have fallen. Okay, so there is, and plus, Jesus Christ, when it comes to war, both sides, Americans and Russians, are fighting fucking very ferociously. So, it is true. It's not like fighting alongside the French or the fucking Brits. So
I would love to see the bear and the American bald eagle side by side. Honestly,
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing about Clinton, man. She keeps fucking bringing up the shit about Russia, Putin, and I keep telling my wife, it's because she has a hard on for Putin. I don't know what her fucking obsession is, but she has an obsession over this whole thing is about. Even recently, they're coming up with this conspiracy theory, which I am going to label that a fucking conspiracy theory. Talking to fucking Nancy Pelosi about this is all actions of Vladimir Putin.
I'll tell you why she has a hard-on for Vladimir Putin.
Okay.
Because Vladimir Putin won't play her games. Vladimir Putin won't do things like join the United Nations. He won't back off of NATO. He, again, dictator, got it. But I would take him over, say, Obama or Clinton any fucking day.
No, they're part of the United Nations.
Are they?
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
They're not part of NATO.
NATO they're not part of NATO.
It says the Russian Federation seceded the Soviet Union's seat, including its permanent membership on the Security Council of the United Nations after its dissolution in the Soviet Union in 1991, which originally co-founded the UN in 1945. So they even co-founded the UN.
No, I knew that. Well, no, they don't play the UN's games.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
As
They
far-
they,
as
they
far as
basically they're not part of the Geneva Conventions. I don't think.
There we go. Conventions, and he's not getting the Russian Federation into a globalist mindset
Yeah.
like the world. Brazil is also losing the mindset of globalization. They're starting to reject it. I mean, they voted a populist president in.
Didn't they vote in a highly conservative president?
Yeah, for the first time.
He just he just loosened up gun laws, and saw a reduction in the murder rate in Brazil.
Yeah.
The thing about Putin and one downside of the Russian culture is that it seems like they're very for like a dictatorish kind of leader. That's how they kind of respond to, being elbowed, the fucking strong arm, being told what to do, just the right amount, but not overly.
Yeah, I think before the Soviet Union, they had the czars. They had a monarchy.
Yeah.
They went from a agricultural society to a industrial society, in a very short amount of time. Yeah. But either way you go for it, I mean, yeah, they got to get kicked in the nuts to,
Yeah.
to be ruled.
Like they kind of like that boot in the ass a little bit. Yeah. It was actually Tsar Nicholas II. It was his uncle or his nephew or someone, his cousin or some shit like that, that was doing all the attacks against the press. It wasn't, and it was just like the Tsar that kind of overlooked it. Anyway, this is kind of a off-topic thing, but yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. If Russian and American relations were better, we would make this place a whole better world. Because here's the one thing that I do know is that, let's just say, and I saw this when it came to like Venezuela, I saw this when it came to Syria, just two examples, right? America kind of got into it. America tried to get into it. Like let's just say Venezuela, for example. We tried to get into it, but then we kind of like backed off. The moment we backed off, the Russians came right in. Right? Mm-hmm. ISIS. We're trying to get into Syria. We're right there on the northeastern part of Syria. We're getting in there. We're going to, and then Russians came right in.
And then we follow suit.
Yeah. Been playing this game for years, bro. We know how it goes, man. We know how it goes. Because did it in Vietnam, like the Russians came in and then, a little bit, and then the Americans came in, and then we did it with Afghanistan. It's a back and forth. It's been a back and forth. It's like almost like, why did the fucking Soviet Union even fall anyway? It's been the same fucking thing since then. But did you, off topic, but did you know that Gorbachev was actually in a Pizza Hut commercial?
No, I did not.
Let me send this one to you. Gorbachev Pizza Hut. Gorbachev's Pizza Hut ad is the most bizarre. Pizza Hut Thanksgiving is Mikhail. God damn it! Fucking ads. I'm going to send. Hold on, I'm going to put this for everyone to see so that they can kind of see it. There's a Gorbachev ad on Pizza Hut, and I'll send you the link too. Pizza Hut International, Gorbachev, 1998.
Was that an American commercial or was it a Russian commercial?
It was a Russian commercial.
Okay.
Well, we brought capitalism into Russia. I'll send it to you, man. It's a fucking trip. Here's the man that used to be the last leader of the fucking Soviet Union in a goddamn Pizza Hut commercial. Because like it's some old guy in there with his family getting triggered that Gorbachev's in the Pizza Hut with him.
That's insane.
I'll fucking send it to you. Hail to Gorbachev! Hail to Gorbachev!
Sometimes nothing brings people together like a nice hot pizza from Pizza Hut.
Oh, thank
So
you,
good.
capitalism. This
So,
shit's a fucking trip, man.
speaking of our borders as well, there's a news article that just popped up on my phone,
Uh-huh.
and I quote, it makes me sick with grief. Trump's presidency divided families. What happens to them now? And I haven't read it yet, obviously. It's just a headline, but I imagine it goes to the cages that Obama and Biden built.
Who built the cages, Joe? Who built them?
But I mean, so here's the deal. When you come in here illegally, you're a criminal. You committed a criminal act. You have violated the sovereignty of our nation. All right?
Yeah.
So if you bring your kid with you, you being a criminal, and you will get arrested, does your kid get to go with you? So of course you're going to be separated.
Let's say,
So
yeah.
go ahead.
Let's say you're driving drunk, and you have your kid in the back seat. Do you get separated?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. The problem
Quick.
is that the majority of children being brought across the border are not being brought across with their biological parents.
Right.
And that's not what they want to tell you. They're
I
being
think,
brought over with other family members, yes.
I think the figure was 70 or 80 percentile that these children were not with family members at all. It was a very high percentage. So yeah, I mean, with those poor kids. So first of all, at this point, you've also violated several international laws, local laws, all these laws. So you put your child in danger, if it is your child. Child endangerment. You probably did very questionable things to get help from the coyotes.
Yeah.
So, prostitution. Then you're going to violate international or border sovereignty, basically. So you at least got 3 things going against you. But if they really wanted to prosecute, I'm sure they could find more. I'm not a legal expert or international expert, just what I've read. But speaking of international law, these caravans that are coming up from south of Mexico,
Honduras, yeah.
they're trying to come here to claim refugee status, right?
Is there a war going on in Honduras?
Well, even if whether there is or isn't, the laws state that if you're going to claim refugee status, you go to the next safest country. The next safest country is Mexico, I believe.
Supposed to be, but we all know it's not. Yeah, no, I get it.
I won't disagree, but they're not at war.
Yeah, no, they're not at war. Not in a sanctioned war, at least. Yeah, no. You're right. Here's how I view that entire problem is that we're supposed to be a nation of laws, right? We don't have open borders. What nation is supposed to have open borders? Are we allowed to let anyone in? Like I was telling my wife, we were trying to be working on her mother's visa, and I said, "Hey, no, let's stop with all the paperwork. Let's stop tell her to fly to Mexico and get across the border illegally. She'll be fine. Just like break the law,
Yeah.
And they wonder why." Like in reality, the United States has the most relaxed immigration laws than any other country in the world. Other countries like Germany that you would think that would have more relaxed, or even Canada, they're not afraid to deport your ass. And also, when it comes to Canada, even to get a visa, you have to have a bank account with $10,000 in that bank account that you got to prove. You got to have already a job in there. And man, and I've seen plenty of cases where, like, even the Canadian border security are like, you don't even have a work visa here, so, and you're trying to work on someone's house? No, sorry, you're getting your ass back. Bro, they're strict as fuck. And they think that the American immigration system is strict. In reality, it's not. The only thing, the downside about the American immigration system is its backlog. And this backlog is created by all the immigration that happens on our southern border, right? So, you have not what we're talking about, like people being brought across the border from coyotes, and you were saying like you don't know like the legal thing. Well, I can guarantee that the majority of people that get caught coming across the border, it's not their first fucking time. It was Obama policy to even, like, you get caught, send it back. Get caught, send it back. Even the Trump administration was pressured to do the same fucking thing, right? And so, like, this entire kids in cages bullshit, where are we supposed to fucking put them? Where? You know? Like, they're not alone. They do have adults there, but yet, if they don't, they were never, ever separated from their biological parents. Ever, if that was the case. The problem was there was a large number of those that were not brought across the border with their biological parents, and then they were like, oh, well, this kid was with a family member in, like, Arizona, and he was waiting, like, 8 months to get met with his parents because they were in fucking Costa Rica the entire time. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe it takes a little fucking time to try to find some guy that lives in a fucking hut in somewhere in the fucking Central America. You know, like, but what are we supposed to do? The problem I had is that Democrats were giving up the problem, but they were not offering solutions. The solution that they were giving was just, fucking give it to everyone. No, that's not the answer. Were we supposed to give them Motel 6s? Were we supposed to give them fucking, the Hilton? I don't understand, like, what kind of facilities were we supposed to accommodate for a large amount of fucking people at one time bringing kids over? Putting children at risk. Yeah. Do they know that there are legal entryways? You know that the only, do you know that all you need from Mexico is like a passport? Like, I think you only need a passport to come into Mexico, to come into the United States. No, I don't think so. I think
there's also work IDs. It's kind of like a passport, but you're promised to leave the same day after you finish working.
Yeah.
Basically.
We recognize for many years that there's this country called Mexico to the south of our border, right? And it wasn't until 2005 where there was this agreement where all you needed was a driver's license to get across Mexico and Canada, right? For Americans, at least.
Right.
And then we had to require passports after that, or enhanced driver's licenses. In reality, if you wanted to get across the border from Mexico, but I get it. We're not looking at Mexicans. We're looking at people south of Mexico that are trying to come up here. But still, there are a good number of Mexicans that are coming over the border continuously, and when the number that staggers me, 11 million illegal immigrants that are in this country that he wants to try to, huh?
It's far more than that, man. They've been saying 11 million illegal aliens for 2-3 decades, at least. 11 million. Motherfucker, there's probably like 40-50 million of them here now. Yeah, if you look, you can look it up. If you look up the amount of people that come here every year illegally that we can track, and then I don't know, divide, multiply it by,
people,
2-3.
People on the left are going to argue they're not here to steal the jobs. They're not going to steal the jobs that you guys want. Yes, that's true. And I understand that immigration is very important for us to have lower end and agricultural jobs here in the United States. And that's just not applies to Mexico or even Hispanics. But immigrants from all over. The problem I have is that it's not that fucking hard to get legal status here in the United States. And I just don't
No, I mean,
understand. Yeah, go ahead.
start off with a work visa or a student visa. You know,
Bro, it's more difficult for people in post-Soviet Union countries to get in this country than it is for Mexicans to get in this country. You know? And it's because of the political ideology, and it's also they don't have so much ready access to be able to cross the border. But it's not that hard to apply just for a green card or a visa or just legal status. It really isn't. You just take all the paperwork I've done for my wife. We did it at home. All the paperwork we've done for her mother. She's not here yet. That we're still waiting on for over a year. Did it at home. You don't need an attorney. You don't need to spend a whole bunch of money. $300 for the fees that you need for the USCIS. Maybe $500, depending on what it is. But it's like when it comes to the DACA kids that I was arguing with Chris about. I said, like, I have no problem of immigrants coming here in the country. I have a problem with the legal status about it, you know?
you want to know who's coming in your
Because
house.
here's one thing that we can all agree on. That we should deny status, legal status in this country for anyone that has a violent criminal record, right?
Yeah.
If you have a felony for murder, you probably shouldn't be in this fucking country. But we not vetting people, you know? That's the process of getting legal immigration here, is getting vetted for that. I would say I have no problem with DACA. We can make it a law if you go through the proper routes. However, I would put a time limit on that. You have 6 to 12 months, let's say 6 months or 12 months, to just apply for the green card. If you don't have legal status within X amount of months, your ass is going back. Is that really too hard to say? Apparently these fucking kids are so goddamn smart to write a fucking essay to get into a major university in California, but can't fill out a fucking 10-page document to get any kind of legal status? That fucking boggles my mind. You know? It doesn't make sense to me.
College is pretty useless.
Yeah.
The most ignorant people I've ever met are college educated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately. I'm sure it was a different time, you know, where that wasn't the case.
One thing that's funny, like I said, I'm not going to mention these, but I'm in a class right now. It's a religious course about Christianity because I'm in a private university. It's a Lutheran university. The guy is supposed to have a doctorate in theology. Doctorate. He's talking to us about Constantine. You know, Constantine was the one that brought Christianity into Rome. He was the first Roman emperor to be Christian, and then changed really all of Rome to allow Christians to be able to freely express their religion in the state. I asked him a question. I said, isn't it true that his mother was probably the most influential person of him converting to Christianity and the movement of Christians? I don't know. I have to look that one up. I think so. And I'm thinking there, wow, I've been to Israel. I've been to Jerusalem. She founded the fucking church in goddamn Israel. Yeah, she was a big important part. She converted him. I'm like, oh, god damn, dude. Like, you know, this guy's a doctorate in theology. I didn't say that, you know, obviously, but here I am, you know, saying the Lord's name in vain, but, you know, but still, it just fucking irritate me. But it's true. We even watered down, like, master degrees and doctorate degrees. It's because there's so many.
Well, the church has been watered down heavily, too.
Bro, the current pope is not a very popular pope. Pope Francis.
Well, I'm not a Catholic.
I'm not either.
I'm talking, you know, your church down the street.
Yeah.
It's so watered down now. It's so watered down. They teach the opposite of what they used to teach me as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now God will forgive you with nothing in return. That's not how I was taught. You you better say your penance as you're asking for forgiveness.
Yeah. Yeah.
You better correct yourself also, and not just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And no.
I converted to Orthodoxy, Christian Orthodoxy. Actually got baptized in Kiev, in Ukraine.
Russian spy.
No, they specifically ask on the application if you have any communist ties. It's true. If you ever look at the immigration, yeah, they specifically ask my wife if she has any ties to communism. Yeah, that's true.
I'm surprised that's on the questionnaire.
So no, we're good, we're clear. But anyway, they even so I go to a church up in Seattle. It's an Orthodox church, Russian Orthodox, and they still even ask you. They ask you if you're a woman, if you ever had an abortion. If you had an abortion, they will refuse you communion. They don't fuck around with that stuff. Especially when it comes to Orthodoxy. We don't even have pews in our church, man. That's how old school it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, give me a moment. I gotta go tinkle.
Yep, me too.
All right. Mac Live after tinkle time. All right.
Not supposed to tell everybody. Damn.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ. Now there's a few Russian Orthodox churches here in Texas.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I think there's one in Dallas. I know for sure there's one either in Austin or Houston, maybe San Antonio. I don't really recall. Actually, yeah, it's in the San Antonio area. It's supposed to be huge. But yeah, I've heard a lot about that, and they kind of have an Old Testament feel.
Yeah.
From what I've read.
Yeah.
Which is the way to go about it, in my opinion. If you're going to teach, Christianity, do it right.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah.
Don't water it down and let it become a social experiment.
Yeah, and that's you even see that in the Catholic Church. It tends to be becoming more of virtue signaling and trying to be hip of the times when is one of the biggest corporations in the world.
Just knowing basic history of the Catholic Church, I honestly think it is and was and still is the Church of Satan. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Catholics. Yeah.
I mean, Catholic people are fine, but the church itself, it's evil.
That's what was going on with Pope Francis. He's not a very popular one. I think the last great pope that there was John Paul. And after that, it's just continuing to go downhill. Giving up the basic foundations of. There was even let's see here, Pope Francis. This is Francis.
Pope bracket. My grandmother used to have a portrait of him in her room. She's a Catholic.
Yeah.
And then my mom claims that since she's Catholic, then that makes me Catholic, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Catholicism is not a race. It's an ideology.
What the fuck is this? It says Pope Francis charged with Freemason involvement after meeting the Kabbalah priests as the Rhine flowing into the Tiber picks up speed. Okay, I don't know.
That's a weird.
Yeah, weird.
I mean, don't get me started on Freemasons. I respect the organization, but it has been heavily infiltrated.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a Freemason. I know they got their little lingo that they're supposed to talk to when they meet each other to find out if they're a Freemason or not. And I don't know. Never part of it. Elitists.
Well, I mean, the Freemasons built this country, man.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I have family members that were Freemasons. Just never. I don't. You're not supposed to be in. You can't just join the Freemasons, right? You have to be invited into it, right? Isn't that how the rule goes?
Yeah, you have to be invited. You can't have a felony on your record. You have to be a man of principle. You have to acknowledge
Either.
that there is either a god or a deity, depending on which house you go into.
Don't they have like too many like secret like backdoor kind of like rituals or?
No, I mean, you can go into any lodge. Almost every lodge has a public library where you can go read up on everything they do.
Really?
Yeah, like the Freemason Lodge here. It has a huge, beautiful library. I mean, it's beautiful, and they have everything from ancient Greek text to the Nuremberg trials, like the complete transcripts, maps, like city layouts. I mean, it's freaking cool.
Wow, really, really.
Yeah,
and you can just walk in there and use their library.
Yeah.
Wow, for real.
I mean,
without being a member.
The doors are locked, but I mean, all you do is hit the buzzer. They buzz you in, and they'll direct you to the library.
It's not like they have history of being like some fucking weird demonic fucking Satanist sex cult, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm not a Freemason. I know what I know because I've been to the lodge with the library.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, everything's you can read anything you want on them. I mean, they have their own records in this library where you can read it.
Yeah.
And that's why I said they're heavily infiltrated now by Illuminati.
Yeah.
Ooh, we didn't know we were getting into this one.
Oh shit. Whole different topic now. Woo!
But yeah, so like I was saying, I mean, they started off, I mean, they created this country. They originated in the old country.
Scotland, right?
So there is the Scottish Rite, which is more of the intellectual house. Then you have the Knights Templar, which is your more militant faction. I'll just call it. It's not really a faction, but. And then there's one or two more. I can't recall.
Fuck, what was it? The Rose.
I want to say there's like four houses. I call them houses. They're probably not even called that.
Yeah.
I just call them houses because they're different.
I only know what I know from the Da Vinci Code. Okay, Jesus.
Well, hey man, you ever get a chance? Go down to your local if they have a library. I mean.
I gotta see. Do I have a Freemason local here? I don't know. I've been part of the VFW though. Local Freemason.
But I've talked to the curator. He's like,
yeah, I got one here. Wow, didn't even know. Masonic Lodge. Wow. Let's see what they got there. What does it look like?
I think
car shows and shit. Damn.
Come to think of it now, I think the Scottish Rite lodges may be the only ones that have the libraries, because they're more on the book learning, I guess you can say.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like that having to wear a fucking ring and like, hey, are you a traveling man and shit like that. Just
do what?
I don't want to. So there's certain lingo that you use when you come up to someone that you think is part of the Freemasons, and one of the things that depends on is, are you a traveling man? And the way that they respond to that question, then that they're on the inside, that they're part of the Masons. I know this because I was downrange with a guy. This guy was actually Dominican, and he met another contractor, and he's like, "Oh, hey, are you traveling, man?" And then he responded. I can't remember what the answer was, but then he always wore his Mason ring, and it's like, "Oh, hey, what part are you from then?" And there's a way that you're supposed to greet like fellow Masons that that you think is Masons. I don't know. To me, it just seems too culty. I don't.
But yeah, this curator, he's like, yeah, you can even see our temple.
Wow. Really?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I mean, they'll take you to the temple. They'll show you what everything is and what the symbolism is behind it. I thought it was really cool, and he actually invited me to come out to a meeting, not temple, but a meeting. Because you got to be Mason to be in temple.
Yeah.
But he invited me out, and he asked me what I thought, and I said, "Hey, cool, man. Where do I sign up?" I didn't follow through with it.
So he offered, huh? But you just didn't follow through?
Yeah, so
I'd just rather be part of the VFW, man. I just like to fucking hang out with old Vietnam vets at the fucking bar and buy $5, $4 beers and shit like that,
Well, I mean, you could still do that as a Mason.
Yeah. No, but that's my cult. That's the one. That's the kind of people I like.
Are you an annual member or a life member?
No, I'm actually out of dues right now, and I gotta join back up. But I did join for 1 year and went down there and a few times. I just never really got too involved in it.
I was thinking about doing my life membership.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I should. I should do that. Yeah.
But yeah, the reason I didn't follow through with the Masons is because I had to provide birth certificate, of course, background check, because they're going to make sure you're not a criminal. Because one of their things is making good men better.
Yeah.
And then something I thought was kind of strange, and this curator kind of explained it to me. He says they're going to want to inspect your home. Well, they want to make sure that you're living clean. No bad habits, no whores and trucks hanging out everywhere.
No dog shit on the ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah. Just make sure you're living clean. But no matter what house or what lodge you belong to, lodge. There we go. My brain just kicked back on there for a second. No matter what lodge you belong to, you have to acknowledge that there is a deity. Unless you are Knights Templar, then you have to be a firm Christian and believe in God and the teachings of Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is the Savior and all that stuff.
Huh.
I thought it was pretty interesting. Now that I talk about it, I really want to get my birth certificate over to him.
Hey,
really
come into my home, man. Fuck it. Get my fridge too. Shit, get a popsicle out of there. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
it's yeah. It's just you have to. It's almost intimate, It's what you don't know what you have to contribute, once you're in there. That
well, he said it's definitely a lifestyle of brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What presidents were Freemasons? I think George Washington was, right?
George Washington. I think Jefferson was as well. I want to say Thomas Paine.
Did you know that Harry Truman was part of the KKK at one point?
Yep, I did know that.
Presidents known to be Masons include Washington, James Monroe, Andrew Jackson, James Polk. One of the most underrated presidents, actually, James K. Polk. James Buchanan, Andrew Johnson, James Garfield, William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, Warren Harding, Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Lyndon Johnson, and Gerald Ford. Sounds like a lot of racists on there.
Well,
Gerald Ford.
You're gonna have racists anywhere you go, Lou.
Yeah, you are. You're gonna have people just hate you just because.
Just because they can and they have insecurities about themselves.
Did you ever hear about this guy? Oh, let me find out. Black. Daryl Davis. Have you ever heard of this guy?
Daryl Davis. What did he do?
African American dude. Um, what he did is that he infiltrated the KKK.
Oh, yeah.
Multiple
he,
times. He's been responsible for the conversion of white supremacists. Giving up their old ways. He's got like Klan uniforms and shit. He talks about. I remember listening to him one time, and he was talking about like the ritual that the Klan would have, of something about like a large table, that would be covered in a red something like I think it was covered in like a red, like table cover, and then something about a sword being placed on top of it and wrapped. I don't know like exactly, but it's like almost like when he explained like their rituals, it's just like I don't like when it comes to like anything that's like ritualistic, it just like turns me off, It's what I think about.
Well, I mean, does the Orthodox Church turn you off?
No.
I mean, they have.
No, it doesn't. I don't have the rituals of like, its own. Well, here's the thing. What makes the Orthodox? We don't have nuns like the Catholics do, right? You have Catholics have nuns that are in the monastery, and that it's completely sex separated, right? I also thought that if you ran the Orthodox Church, if you were like the head priest, that you had to be celibate. And that's not the case at all. The main priest on our church, he is married. But we don't have nuns. But there is a barrier, right? So there is this thing that when we stand in church, we have like this like big wooden barrier that's right in the front where the priest comes out, and behind is like he walks behind, right? So it's like this, he comes out and then he like sings out of the the book, because you don't read out of the book as in like Jerry said this, blah blah blah. When you read out of the Holy Scripture, you're supposed to sing it like like the Muslims do, of la, 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 yeah, stuff like that. It's all in Russian, anyway. But but only boys and men are supposed to go behind that barrier. So there is kind of like that, sex-related part to it, where like it's a lot like the choir boys of the Catholic faith. It's just we don't have that. You're not obligated if. You're not obligated to do your confession. You're not obligated to really do anything. To me, in my opinion, my view of the Orthodox religion is that, and what they believe is that it's not our job to jam down the word of Christ down anyone's throat. I'm not supposed to come out to you and say, believe in God, believe in God, believe in Jesus, like that. It's what my job is that I'm going to believe. If you want to know more, just ask, and I will let you know. They have it, unlike Mormons and unlike other faiths where they go to knock on your door. Hey, would you like to hear the word of Jesus Christ? And annoy the hell out of people. Yeah, exactly. But boys and men are only supposed to go behind that barrier. I've never been back there, but the choir boys are allowed back there. Not the girls, not the women at all. And women do not... I've gone to Ukraine and I've seen like maybe one woman take care of the church. Like kind of a nun, but not really. She's like a volunteer. But it's basically the men that take care of everything. So there is that aspect, but what differs also when with them with the Orthodoxy and with the Catholics is that you come into as a Catholic you come into like a pew or sit down in like the big chamber and you're supposed to like tell your sins to um, uh, the priest, the father, as your as part of your God. I mean, it's part of your communion. However, on the other side, on the Orthodoxy, you have to fast for 3 days before you can even go up to that point. You confess the night prior, and then the morning of on Sunday morning, that's when you're supposed to receive communion. I haven't received communion yet under the rules of the Orthodox Church because I haven't fasted accordingly and I haven't came up with my first confession yet. So, but I'm still allowed in. They're not going to shut you out, and they're not going to. They don't really care on who comes in and comes out. It's more beneficial for them just to have anyone come in. But they're not going to be hypocrites either. When it comes down to their faith, you're not supposed to receive communion. The guy knows anyway, but just yeah. One thing that's very interesting too is that a lot of Jewish Orthodoxy and like Christian Orthodoxy kind of like cross each other in the sense that like funerals. When you have someone that pass away, you're supposed to cover all the mirrors inside the house. And also, you're not supposed to keep your dead outside, not buried for very long. You're supposed to bury them by nightfall of the following day. What else? There's a whole bunch, but yeah. But when it comes to, when you're asking, is there ritualistic when it comes to mirroring the the Masons and also like my faith? I mean, I can understand it. I can see it. I just don't see it as in they don't come to my house. They don't really care how I live. They don't really get involved. It's almost like a cult, like where I want to see who you're married to. I want to see like where do you sleep? Where do you fucking shit like that. That too far, right?
Yeah, yeah. I can totally understand where you're coming from there. But at the same time, they don't want shitbags in.
Yeah, that's a good point too. So you have that. I mean, how far deep are they going to look in your house? I mean, I guess they're not looking at your financials. They want like fucking. It's not like buying a house where they want last 6 months of your fucking.
I mean, from what I've been told, they don't go and like search your house. They really just
yeah.
They just come in, sit down, talk with you and your spouse if you're married. Talk with your kids. Maybe talk to your neighbors. I don't know. I don't recall that. Sounds like something they might do.
So you're saying if you had the same opportunity, you would join them today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more out of sheer curiosity. Just to see what kind of people join it, which I kind of got an idea when I went to that meeting. I mean, they had a spread of food. I think it was a hot tamale. It was basically a smorgasbord, like a buffet style, where everybody brought one dish in, and then you just kind of ate whatever.
Hey, is your connection getting screwed up? You're on your phone, right?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
All right. The sound just went really bad.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but you're very low.
Any better?
Starting up. All right. Sorry.
Okay. All right. But yeah, if I could, if I had the chance right now and I had all the proper documents that's required of me, I mean, they already did the background check. They just need the birth certificate. So that's really the only thing I got left. But anyways, when I went to the meeting, I kind of got a sense of who everybody was, because everybody that showed up, they business owners. They were not business owners. They're blue collar people.
Uh-huh.
There was, I think there was a judge there.
Oh,
You know, back in
shit.
yeah, I mean, it's just this hodgepodge of people, man. I mean, and I did remember asking them, you know, why they joined.
Uh-huh.
And it all came down to the brotherhood, that anytime they needed anything, one or more or everybody would be there to assist them in any way that they could.
Yeah, you know, and there's a positive thing about that, and I wish that our American culture would be more like that. You know, outside of having to join a group. You know, American culture is very individualistic. We really tend to really care about us and our own and what's me, not really anyone else. When we should really start caring about more people in our community.
Yeah.
Necessarily, is it comes down to Hillary Clinton's, you know, a village it takes a village to raise a child. Yeah, partially. And there's evidence that shows that like really 14% of a child's development is really impacted by the raising of a parent. A lot about genetics, but even this is a different side. But in reality, my mom was giving me this article about like how here in Washington State we got hit first. You know, the very first case was here in Washington, and where it hit the most was in these old folks' homes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it really turned into something really bad where COVID was hitting these old people's homes, as in like these care facilities, and the precautions were getting so restrictive where like they were starting to be neglected as well, where even the the senior citizens were not even getting washed, bathed from like weeks on end, being neglected, not even being fed sometimes, and they couldn't even see their family members because of the COVID. So there was a whole bunch of things that came along with it, and so my mom asked me like, what do you think that, you know, we could have done to fix this? And I said, like, look, because like she was saying that, oh, they didn't, because like federal funding came into these facilities, but because they were private facilities, you know, they were for greed. And I said, no, I don't think that because there were a difference of being public or being private would have made any difference. I said, we should just like, it was a lack of people not giving a fuck. You know, it was just people not caring. We need people to care more, you know? And if we had people that cared more about their jobs, about their duties, about like taking care of others, it didn't matter if it was going to be a public or a facility or a private facility. You know, like, oh, is the public's not about greed, but yeah, they're not about greed, but yet they're not going to be worried about losing their job because of lack of job performance. And then you have a private facility that's going to be all about for greed or all about the money and funneling the money in. Are they going to be taking care? No, it's what it is. The big picture is people need to care more all around. You know.
Well, you know, in anything private, you're going to have a lot more accountability than you would public, because public, most people are unionized. They got tenure, all this other bullshit. Private facilities, yeah, you still have that, but you're still held accountable for your actions, for your performance.
You know how hard it is to fire a federal employee? You know, before Trump was like saying like, oh, you know, needs to be based on performance.
Yeah.
You go to if you want to find out, go to your local post office. Let's go. Yeah. Go over there. You know how many times I've had to argue with post office workers? Bro, when I moved into houses, right? I filled out a, simple form that says, hey, forward my mail to this address, but hold my mail for 2 weeks. Moved in, my hold on mail should have expired because on the form it says, expires on what date, until what date. I went to the post office for 3 weeks, man, bitching at them. about, hey, where's my mail? You guys are not delivering my mail. Where's my mail? Where's my mail? It took until 3 weeks, man, that all they had to do was that one person went in the back and they took that little card and they flipped it over and it said expired 3 weeks prior. And then it's like, oh, that's why they weren't receiving, you're not receiving your mail. That's why they weren't delivering it. I'm like, do you understand that there's laws against you guys withholding my mail? You're like really, like people don't go to the post office. It's always a fucking challenge,
I've been in this house 5 years. Well, I mean, I get my mail, but I also get the former tenants' mail
Still.
as well. Still, and every single day, kid you not, get mail for this person. And every single day, I put a Post-it note on it, says, does not live here. Every single day. And we've had, I think, a change in postal workers twice since in the 5 years we've been here. So we know our mailman.
Yeah.
Like, stop bringing this, please.
Yeah, I knew my mailman too, and he was a Vietnam vet, and he was a master sergeant in the Army. One time, I ordered, I'm a collector of cards, so I ordered $400 worth of cards in the mail. And my mailbox on the street that I was at is a community mailbox. And, it has everyone's, mail, and, it's just, slots, and you're supposed to walk out and just grab it, right? It's not at the front door or anything like that. And it said, got delivered, but I didn't receive my mail. And I'm like, hey, I have this insured. I'm like, you guys saying it's delivered. Well, okay, let me contact your carrier. No, the carrier said that it was delivered. I'm like, look, it could have easily gone up or down from my slot. It didn't get to me. I'm telling you. And I couldn't even get the insurance on it because it showed as delivered. Well, luckily, a week later, the woman down the street from me came home and came knocking on my door. Hey, is this yours? And I'm like, oh my jeez, dude. I've been fighting for that for the past week. And but that's the post office for you. It's delivered. They don't care. They don't get fired for it,
Yeah, I mean, as much as I talk shit about Amazon and FedEx, you're going to get your shit.
Yeah, you are.
You're going to get your shit. Same day if you want.
But that's what happens when it's for profit,
Yep.
It gives the incentive to get the job done right.
Yeah.
And if you don't, your guess gets fired,
Not only job done right, but it's going to get done efficiently.
Yeah, fast. And it goes to healthcare as well, right? And
yeah.
Oh, we're going down another fucking rabbit hole. Here we go. Right? So we privatize, a lot of people want to privatize healthcare, make healthcare affordable for everyone. Look, I want to make healthcare affordable. I want to make healthcare available for those that can't afford it. There's a difference. Okay? It's possible to meet in the middle. That's where I'm going to meet in the middle. I'm not going to say I'm going to pay for fucking Jeff Bezos' healthcare. I'm not going to say that I'm going to pay for Bill Gates' healthcare. Why the fuck would I want to do that? No. We already have systems in place that we provide healthcare to those that cannot afford it. Even at state level, federal level, etc. Below the poverty level. But it's we can trust it's so funny, the paradox to me. We can't trust the government on handing out stimulus checks, but we can trust the government with treating our cancer.
I would advocate for disincentivizing insurance companies. The cooperation between insurance companies and hospitals.
Uh-huh.
And bring back charitable hospitals, like religious-based healthcare.
Non-profit ones.
Non-profit. Now, I could get behind that 100% because somebody, it's working off donations by them, with those. It's working off donations. So, yeah, the doctor's not going to make as much, but usually if he's working there, he's usually there maybe 1 or 2 days on his off time from the hospital. So he's just volunteering his time, which is what used to happen.
Yeah.
I would definitely advocate for that.
Yeah.
Because insurance makes things a lot more expensive than it has to be, and that's why people get fucked over a lot with their insurance.
The problem is government intervention on what insurance should pay for. Here's the thing: insurance pays for what it pays for, and healthcare is as expensive as it is because that's what hospitals can get away with charging insurance companies. You know?
I mean, $25, $50 for a pain pill.
A Tylenol.
A Tylenol.
Yeah.
A Tylenol.
Yeah, that's what That's what I was telling people. I'm like, when you call for an ambulance, they're gonna be like, "Hey, you need oxygen? Fuck, you need oxygen, dog. You need fucking Tylenol. Here, take this. Here's a little bit of water. Squirt, squirt. You're good." And they're charging that shit. They're because that's what they can get away with charging the fucking insurance companies. $50 for a little water squirt, $100 for a Tylenol. Oxygen, oh shit, $600 right there. You know what I mean?
I think the average, emergency ambulance ride, I think the average is like 6,000 or 7,000 a ride.
It's at least 2,000, or at least 1,000 up here. Yeah, 1,000. If you have insurance. Well, no. I mean, insurance still covers it, but yeah. I mean, it could be. For 15-minute rides, a couple $1,000s. But here's the other thing too: is do we want to have the best doctors in the world? Do we want to have the best? And how are we going to attract that by having we're not going to want to pay doctors $50,000 a year, right? Surgeons $60,000 a year, right?
No.
We want to have the best equipment in the world, right? We want to have the most expensive fucking diagnostic fucking MRI pieces that you can fucking see a goddamn mosquito scratch its ass, That costs money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then where's that money going to come from? It has to come from somewhere. So it's either going to come from the public or come from insurance, right? So I just think that, and people say oh, hey, we flood to Canada. Americans flood to Canada for insulin prices. Yeah, well, guess what? Canadians flood to America because we have the best fucking heart specialists in the world. Okay?
Not just Canadians, but the Brits do also.
Yeah.
They come here too.
Yeah. So where do we find the middle? You know what I mean? Capitalism is always going to win because you're going to have, because we want to pay. In order to get the best heart surgeons, you got to pay for it. Got to pay for it. Shit ain't free, buddy. They ain't going to do it for free. No.
I mean, they just spent a fucking truckload of money to get that education and know how to do those specialty jobs.
Yeah, over $100,000 in education, right? Yeah.
Yeah. 8 years of school minimum.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it goes
excuse me if you have to pay fucking a whole bunch of money out of insurance for it because this guy had to learn how to fucking diagnose your goddamn arteries. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry that he's able to take veins out of your legs and fucking bypass your fucking heart. You know what I mean?
But
everyone should know that.
In Canada, Europe, I mean, yeah, you're going to wait at least 6 months before you can see a specialist. And then by then you're dead.
Not only that, but they're going to say oh, wow, you're a smoker? Oh, shit, you're 65? No, we're not covering that.
Yeah.
Or we've already seen in the UK, oh, shit, your child has a 1% chance of surviving this? No, sorry, we can't pay for that.
Yeah.
Then you find yourself in a whole different world of shit right there, right? Then you're having the plea to make lawsuits and cases to your government saying, hey, please do this surgery for my kid. Well, they say you got a 1% chance, Why would
Good
we,
old.
you know? Why the fuck would you put? You can't even trust these guys to do A, B, and C, but you can trust them with their fucking healthcare. That's what I never understood. Like, hey, you know, you really want to give up? Like, oh yeah, it's fine to pay for healthcare for everyone, but trust me, when it comes to the government, it always comes with a fucking string attached.
Yeah.
Well, it says here that you did ecstasy back in 1983. Well, you obviously have a substance abuse problem, you know? Why would I pay for this? Sir, I have brain cancer. Oh, take it to the court. Sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm
That's
the fucking
laughing. Truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what people don't fucking realize. That's what people don't realize. Yeah, great. I understand the Soviet Union probably had universal health care, but they were also fucking starving their own fucking people. Yeah, China was probably providing fucking free casts for everyone because it was so fucking simple that you could do it in a fucking brick ass fucking single story hospital, but still fucking drown your fucking kids because there was only a single kid limit. You know what I mean?
God forbid if you had a little girl.
Yeah, Jesus, man. And they finally, thank God. Hey, thank you, Supreme Leader Xi Jinping, for fucking getting rid of that fucking law. Bro, they were, yeah, it was just fucking, stupid, man. And that's where we're going down. It's like the free speech thing. We don't even fucking trust Facebook and Twitter to, regulate free speech. And you want to say you could trust government to do the same thing? No, you can't.
Not when government and those companies are holding hands.
Yeah.
They're sucking each other's dicks, man.
Hey, Joe Biden. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, get the orange man out.
Yeah.
Section 230. He wants to get rid of it. He wants to make me responsible. Yeah, fucking.
And then they're getting rid of the Mexico City bill.
I heard something like that. Hold on. Let's take a pause on that. Mexico City bill. Gotta pee.
Okay.
Recording now. Mexico City bill. What's that?
So that is the in fact, I'm gonna try to remember it. But basically, American taxpayers are not going to pay for abortions to other countries. So it originated in Mexico City, I think, with Reagan, if I remember correctly. But every time there's a Democrat president, it usually gets pushed aside, and then Republicans usually reinstate it, and it's been going on like that.
So it means that we are funding abortions over. I heard something about that briefly today. Now that you mention that, so we do fund abortions over in Mexico.
Yeah. Well, it's not just Mexico. I'm pretty sure it's worldwide. And Planned Parenthood centers across the world. They may be called different, things elsewhere, but yeah, I mean, we not only pay for it here at home,
but there's a law that says we're not supposed to pay for abortions.
Yeah.
But we still give like billions of dollars to Planned Parenthood anyway.
Yeah, cocksuckers.
I mean, like, that's one thing I never understood. How can you say that we're not supposed to pay for abortions, federal money, but then we give money to an abortion clinic? But, oh no, that money is specifically for contraceptives.
Yeah, sure it is.
Yeah, all right, let's prove it, man. Jesus.
I think it was it might have been Project Veritas that was calling Planned Parenthood centers across the nation, asking them if they provided neonatal care and literature on how to be a good parent and all this other kind of stuff. And no, we don't provide all that. when that's all you hear from the left is, oh, but the prenatal care and the motherly blah blah blah. It's like, all right, yeah, you're just there to kill those babies, man. That's all.
Where are Planned Parenthood clinics normally located at? Usually low poverty areas, middle poverty areas.
Yeah, poverty-stricken areas, mainly black areas.
Yeah. Yeah. Cross high schools in certain places. Remember Junction City? Yeah.
Yeah.
One right across the street.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Oh, weird. Not racist. Not racist at all.
No. No, they're just, they just originated, trying to annihilate the black population.
Yeah. Yeah.
Along with the,
they want to talk about disproportion on, when it comes to the populace of a minority group. There's not a lot of Mexicans that are getting abortions. It's not a lot of any other Indian. I'm talking about from actual India, Asian population. No, basically it's a large disproportion of people from the black community that are getting abortions.
Well, it's not just the black, or it's also the white community now.
Oh yeah, but that's not disproportionate from the populace, though. Is what I mean. Yeah, it's. But just keep funding it. Hey, go ahead. Let's kill a future black doctor. Let's kill a future, senator or whatever.
I don't see how anybody can't see it as murder. You hear the my body, my choice. Well, guess what? That body's independent of yours. You have two sets of DNA that has come together. That is a person. They're going to have their own personality. They're going to have either your eye color or the father's eye color, or neither, depending on genetic mutations. They're going to have their own opinions about the world. You're killing a person.
What I always thought was a paradox was feminist women that were saying, I want to strengthen women in the American culture, American society, and I want to have free abortions where I want to eliminate the future women of America. And I've never understood that, it's get rid of the child, I just think that if I was in charge, if I was going to create any kind of policy or anything incentive, I would create an incentive where I would start off with, let's eliminate $10,000 or $20,000 of student debt if you decide to give your child up for adoption. Instead of getting rid of Roe versus Wade, I would like to compete against Roe versus Wade. And I just don't understand. To me, when New York had allowed late term abortions, third trimester, are you out of your fucking mind? You can have a child at 7 months.
Right after they're born. They'll lay them on the table.
Yeah. You know what it means to have a late-term abortion? You still pass it through the vaginal canal or through C-section.
Yeah.
So even if it's with C-section, it's like giving birth anyway. But you inject the child with basically the same stuff that you would give a prisoner on death row. Kill it before it comes out and passes through the birth canal. It's fucking sick. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Well, what's even sicker is there is at least one documented case that I have heard about, and where I want to say it was Virginia or New York. 26. Where do you recall the governor of Virginia's name? What's his name? Northam.
Yeah. Yeah. Northam. Let's see. VA governor. I'm pretty sure that's
But
governor.
you
Ralph
talking
Northam.
about,
Yeah.
yeah, he was in an interview talking about,
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, we're gonna make the baby comfortable before he died. We're gonna make sure that he's comfortable. No, motherfucker. That
You
is
know, it is
everything
born,
you
and
did.
it got failed in the abortion. It's still born, but we're going to make him comfortable. Yeah, that's when Alex Jones was saying that's when they were taking them out in the back and fucking selling the
Yep.
bodies for research. Yeah.
Yep. And it seems like much like it seems like people have forgotten the adoption option.
Yep.
And to me, what that mainly is we're really losing our soul, man. Or not, not us, obviously, because we want to protect these innocent lives.
Here we go.
But-
Here's this one. The Federalist. Planned Parenthood lied to Congress about selling aborted fetuses. October 30th, 2020.
I mean, again, going back to Project Veritas, they have covered this as well. I think there was a lady that said she got some kind of sports car or something. I think it was a Ferrari
I think I know what you're
For her
talking about.
for her efforts in selling body parts.
LifeNews.com. Planned Parenthood leaders admit under oath to harvesting body parts from babies born alive. So, Tulsi Gabbard, one of the most respectable Democrats I've ever probably really met, or not, I haven't met yet, but seen in my life, she proposed a bill where she proposed that you cannot abort a child that is capable of feeling pain, or a fetus that is capable of feeling pain. Not about the heartbeat, not about like when the soul comes into the body, which has all been about debate, but like we know now, as far as we are in our understanding of science and biology, that there is a certain point where the fetus can feel pain. Let's see, Gabbard. By the way, she's going to be a future Republican. Abortion.
Really?
Yeah, that's my guess. Abortion.
Oh, I thought you came out with that or something.
No, it's just my guess. It's just my guess. Yeah, it says abortion. Tulsi Gabbard introduces bill to block abortion of fetuses capable of feeling pain. Listen, if anyone's listening to at this point, which is going to be like almost 3 hours, listen to her most recent interview with Joe Rogan. She doesn't talk about the abortion bill, but what she does talk about is that the plain and obvious blocking of any kind of COVID relief bill or even criminal justice reform bills that could have brought people out of jail early for nonviolent crimes, because the Democrats did not want to make Donald Trump look good. Clear and obvious. From someone from their own party, by the way, said this. That she was approached by people of her own party saying, we cannot go for this bill. We cannot even bring up COVID relief because we can't make Donald Trump look, because he's going to say, I did this.
Yeah.
Sickening. Yeah. Sickening. And this should fucking piss everyone off. That we fucking got used. Well, I guess we all together. But 80 million of you motherfuckers that fucking voted for this guy.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm gonna leave it at allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Because obviously, I mean, hell, Antifa didn't even like him. BLM. Now I understand these are small fringe groups, but I don't know of any Republicans or independents that voted for him. No. There's just a select few people. I mean, yeah, probably in the millions, but 80 million, I don't think so.
Where?
I don't think so.
Where I've been going outside here. I'm in the blue state, and I've seen a whole bunch of Trump supporters. You know, I said this to people I've been talking to before on the show. Where are these Biden voters? Where are these 80 million, like historical amount, 80 million of people at?
Yeah.
You know, they're not closeted voters, from my understanding of like what you know, the post polling. As a matter of fact, most closeted voters were for Trump than they were for Biden. Where are these people at? You know, 80
I'll
million.
be per-
80.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I didn't vote for Trump in 2016.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
I didn't vote for him at all. I just I didn't trust him. But then, you know, he really surprised me a lot about, you know, especially when I saw my own personal bank account get fatter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can live with this. So naturally, I voted for him, even though we had this pandemic.
When he says
that
when he comes out and says, "I'm going to stop giving taxpayer money to Iran." Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty good, right? What has Iran ever done for us? What has Iran actually done anything for the world? Or let's say, hey, I'm going to go to South Korea and I'm going to meet with Kim Jong Un, and we're going to talk about some things. You know, wow, he actually walked into North Korea. Man,
Yeah.
He must love dictators. Oh, he loves dictators. Or, you know, or he went to NATO. He went to NATO and he said, "Hey, Germany, you guys got to give more money. We're giving up 4% of our GDP, and you guys are giving up like 1.8. How terrible! How awful! You know what I mean?
Do you remember? Did you see that video when he made that speech?
Probably. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Which one was it?
Where he's addressing NATO and all the NATO leaders were standing there.
Yeah,
And he said,
Iran.
You're going to start pulling your weight, or we're leaving.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
What?
I liked when he did the UN address and he was talking about like the crimes of Iran, and the guy was like, fucking. I think it was Iran that he was talking about, or China or some shit like that. But yeah, you know, yeah, it was so terrible, so fucking awful. Betsy DeVos,
Not the man.
and the worst fucking Secretary of Education ever. Where she actually filed. Look, bro, there was, I think it was Princeton that said, "Oh, they made a public statement saying we are saying that the education system is so succumbed with systemic racism that we are going against it." So she was like, "So you guys admit that the system that you guys have been a part of have been so systemically racist that I'm filing an investigation going because you guys are admitting that you guys were discriminating on applicants coming in." Let's see, hold on. I can find it.
But he got us out of the apparent Paris Climate Agreement.
Does nothing. They don't do anything.
He also got us out of the the North American trade deal?
Yeah, so he got rid of NAFTA and he created the USMCA. Yep.
Yeah.
Which was going to be high in favor, which is like it makes sense. Like, hey, I don't know if you guys know this, but you know the United States makes a GDP that's fucking far greater than Mexico and Canada combined. So you guys probably shouldn't be you know, like we run this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
I mean, then he put the smack down on China.
Yeah. And then remember when they were saying all that shit, they were like, "Oh, well, we're going to lose on Chinese steel. You know, we're going all of the products that we're going to buy is just going to go up and up and up and up and up." You know, yeah. Yeah, here we goes. Princeton, here's Forbes. Princeton's president says his school is racist, so Betsy DeVos launched an investigation. Yeah, fucking idiot. Last week, the U.S. Department of Education informed Princeton it was under investigation for violating the Civil Rights Act. It would seem that the Department of Education had little choice. After all, the president of the Princeton University, which annually collects $300 million in federal research funding and millions more in federal student financial aid, recently declared that his university is systemically racist.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Can't fucking make this up, dude. Can't make it up.
I know you can't. Fucking hey.
This
man.
was September 21st, 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Fuck.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to go by, I guess you know what, I could say yes. But it's not just them. It's all the colleges, because Asian students have to test higher to get admitted than anybody in any other group.
Racist? Yeah.
That's racist. People of Indian or Pakistani descent also have to test higher.
Yeah, racist.
And then
That's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. They say that America is so systemically racist that the most smallest minorities in this country, South Asian, or Indian, or like you said, Pakistani, and also Asian minorities are literally above. They make more money collectively. Well, not make more. Proportionately to their amount of people. They make more money than Caucasian people do in the United States. They're the most predominant and richest people in this country.
Because they come over here, and as soon as they get here, they start a business. Doesn't matter what it is.
Can't go to 7-Eleven. And guys going to fucking mock the guy from running 7-Eleven or fucking Habib over the 7. That motherfucker owns 12 of them bitches. Bro,
Yeah,
he's making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Just off the
more
gasoline.
doctors. Indians make more doctors than
anybody.
Yeah. Per their population here in the United States than anyone else.
That
You want to make fun of people, Asian people, about knowing math? Bitch, they fucking programmed Disney Plus.
Well, I think China did that because it keeps fucking crashing.
No, actually, I knew one of the guys in the chat, Jake. He actually, one of his friends was one of the programmers out there in Silicon Valley. I talked with about making an application. Indian guy though, but so even the foreign labor, which goes to my point in China, especially when it comes to the Hong Kong thing. If I was President Trump, bro, this is what I would have done. I would have fucking said, hey, if anyone would have gotten free visa rides or free citizenship rides here in the United States, would be people from Hong Kong. I would have been, hey, you want to flee out of Hong Kong? Come to the United States. I'm going to give you guys fucking green cards out the ass. Because here's why. What kind of people work and live in Hong Kong that have the capability to flee or would want to flee? Capitalists. Smart, fucking intelligent Chinese or Hong Kong. I don't know, what would you call someone from Hong Kong? Hong Kongian? I don't know. But people from Hong Kong, I would have just fucking said, hey, fuck you, China, and say, hey, bring them all in. Let's get them out. Let's evacuate those guys. Let's get them out. I want them. Because
still have a vetting process though.
Yeah, still have a vetting process, but the chances of them being drug running murderers out there is pretty fucking low. Because here's one thing that I want to do. Those motherfuckers in China want to do some fucking stealing of our intellectual property. Well, I'm going to steal the most intellectual people, like we did during the end of the World War II in Operation Paperclip. We wouldn't have gotten to fucking space if it wasn't for that fucking Nazi fucking NASA. And also, I would have, huh?
Werner Braun,
Yeah.
Von Braun.
Von
Yeah.
Braun? Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten that dude literally hung. That dude used to hang Jews in his factory in Germany to let all the other Jews know to keep fucking working. And we kept him and we put him in charge of the fucking NASA program. Anyway, that's what I would have done. If I was a fucking smart, intelligent guy, it would have been. I would have fucking taken them all in, man. Fucking come here, buddy. Because you know what I would do in 5 years after that? I would do a fucking technological race with China. And I'd be like, I'm getting my ass to fucking Mars before you guys are. And not only that, but you guys been stealing our shit for so long, is that I'm going to, we're not going to do business anymore. Because you know why? Our fucking, our manufacturing got automated, buddy. So I don't have to pay your fucking people $1.25, a fucking hour, 25 cents an hour. Which I'll agree with Andrew Yang on this one, that automation is going to be the future of America, especially of American production, and then especially American production of steel and very big metal, because I know a lot of people are afraid that if we have robots producing our iPhones, producing our fucking steel, it's going to cost jobs. But those are jobs that we already don't have in the country, right? What I fear is that we found out in this pandemic that our pharmaceutical manufacturing was outsourced into places like India and China. And we closed down a lot of that. And China even closed down 3M. You know 3M, right? It's an American company that produces like half the shit that the United States military even uses. Pens, toilet paper, whatever. Earplugs. Yeah, they fucked that up. But even like basic like medications too. And they shut them down. They shut down 3M exporting anything out of China to even the United States. So basic medications were even out being really scarce here in the United States, because all of our that's scary, man. When our medications, a lot of our medications, like for fucking diabetes, for fucking anything, seizure medication, whatever, is being produced out of outsourced to the country, and we have to shut down our fucking exports and imports because of a fucking pandemic. That's scary, dude. That's why we need to centralize our production.
Yeah, we just need to bring everything back. Bring everything back. Complete isolationism. Bare basic trade agreements with other nations. And then immigration. We need to have a strict merit system. Doctors, scientists.
Bro, if you know how to fucking split an atom up with B's ass somewhere in Mars, I probably want your fucking expertise. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I know it's unavoidable for manufacturing jobs, anyways. As far as everything being automated.
Yeah.
It's sad, but I mean, there are still a lot of people inside manufacturing plants, like the automobile industry. Yeah, it's largely automated, but there's still a lot of people that work in those plants. The ones that are still in the country, anyways.
Yeah, but when it comes to machines, you still have to have people to maintain the machines, right? It may be not a lot of them, but at least it does provide some kind of jobs, right? So we have to meet the market somewhere in the middle of eliminating the costs of production without having to say, hey, I'm going to impose a law and they have to tax you 30% on tariffs. You know what I mean? Let's face it, Chinese steel fucking sucks. American steel fucking badass, bro. You know what I mean?
Build a nation, bro.
Bro, Trump actually put into effect the American steel up in because goddamn, the Great Lakes is where like a lot of like the old U.S. steel used to be produced. Like he was opening that shit right back up and said Chinese steel is fucking shitty, man. American steel fucking better. Anything. Here's the thing, and let's all face it. When you see a product that you're given, jeans, whatever, fuck contraceptives, a condom, whatever, it's fucking made in China. It's probably going to break on you, right? You're going to be finding up shit creek. But when you see something made in the United States of America, and I think they even made one time in China a province called USA, just so they could say it was made in USA. Yeah, tricky, right?
Yeah.
When you see something made in America, that shit's quality. It's always
Yeah.
been known like that. If it's fucking made in America, it's quality.
It's more than
car.
It's
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah, it's quality. It's quality. That shit's going to be less because that person got paid fucking well to take care of that fucking car or whatever of that product. The fucking materials put into that was not fucking cheap shit. It was fucking checked, regulated. It was fucking put in there 110%. You don't get that when you get
Seal
that
of
fucking
approval.
products from China.
No, because they don't have the regulations that we do here.
Yeah,
They have no problem sacrificing thousands or millions of lives to produce dangerous products, but we will definitely
Here's
make
one.
regulations.
Here we go. Here's an article by who's it from? Culture Hub. Another iPhone factory worker in China jumped to his death. What the fuck is really going on?
Yeah.
Foxconn. They really so this is where they produce the iPhones in China. They literally put nets outside the windows of the factory because so many people jump out and try to kill themselves.
Yeah.
It says the suicide victim Ming Li was an employee of Foxconn, the world's largest Chinese electronics manufacturer that assembles iPhones along with other products. Why is this news? This wouldn't be the first time an iPhone manufacturer has been under fire regarding employee suicide. Foxconn has been in the headlines since 2009. Since then, there have been, let's see here, the timeline commenced after a 25-year-old man jumped from his apartment building. Sun Dayong was said to have been beaten up by security guards prior to leaping out of his apartment window because he lost an iPhone prototype. Since then, there have been 18 reported, they made sure to put that in quotes, suicides, with all the victims having one thing in common. All were employees for Foxconn. Even those phones that you get, Android phones, Samsung, they're in South Korea. They still outsource it to China. These motherfuckers were actually in war with China.
Oh, shit.
Still outsource the product. Yeah, funny.
Although, I will say that my Android has worked far better than any Apple product I've ever had. Anything Samsung that I have works so much better.
What?
Yeah,
No, I like my slave phone 12.
Your slave 12.
Yeah, my slave phone 12. They're all slave phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good way to keep listen to you.
Yeah, no shit, man. The whole world's a joke. America's not contributing to anything better now with Joe Biden, and we're all fucked. We all got played.
And we're going back to war in the Middle East.
Oh yeah. Shit. 4 more years in Afghanistan. Because it was so fucking, bro. The shit blew my mind, man. When when Trump was like, I'm going to fucking remove the troops out of Syria. When AOC comes out and says we are betraying the Kurds, bitch, what do you know about the Kurds?
What regions do they live in?
Yeah, what the fuck do you know about them?
What language do they speak?
Betrayed the Kurds. Fuck that. When the Kurds help us out. Like, bro, that was their only defense, man, of everyone. You even had the most peaceful fucking, oh, we need to be all about, like, the people and not going to war. Oh, but you're betraying the Kurds, getting out of Syria. Oh, my fucking Murphy. If that didn't fucking prove anything that Trump was trying to do, bro, then that everything else after that was obviously a fucking cover-up, man. Because look at it, man. Made people like AOC defend the fucking Kurds. The Kurds. Defend going to war. Defend.
Now, don't get me wrong. I do support the Kurds, ambitions for independence. I do. But would I be willing to send our boys and girls or any resources to them? Fuck no.
We already have like civilians going over there, joining them to like fight ISIS anyway.
That'd be something.
But who created ISIS? Who created ISIS?
We did.
Obama.
But who I would send?
Excuse me.
Over help. I would create a brand new military branch, not Space Force, not Space Force, but create a American Foreign Legion. So all these people that we keep catching at our borders, over and over again, get an automatic draft. We'll send them over.
An American Foreign Legion would be interesting. Very.
And, also send criminals like pedophiles over there to die.
Stalin did that in the sacking of Stalingrad or in Leningrad. Definitely put the criminals out of prison and put them on the front lines to be the meat shield. Yeah.
Now, would I do that for all prisoners? No. But really sick ones, I would. Yeah, for sure.
It would be very interesting. Criminal justice reform. I'm all for the death penalty. I am.
Yeah.
Do I accept that there's possibilities where you could execute someone that was not rightfully guilty? Yes. Do I think that is that minor, amount of people acceptable, or is it more feasible that it happens now in this today? I don't think it's going to happen. You'll find yourself with, I think if you reform the law to the point where you have clear and like the person accepts and pleads guilty that they committed that fucking heinous crime of like killing a police officer or killing a whole family, then what the hell else do you have to argue? The man's in court saying clearly that he'll do it again or whatever, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Hang him. You know what I mean? Because you see with the California prison problem with, we got to get rid of the death penalty. We're not going to do that anymore. We're not, you get the 3 strike rule. If you don't commit this kind of, you just get right back out. It incentivizes people to commit crimes even more,
Well, not only that, they're so overcrowded that they have to outsource their prisoners to other states. You hear about
Are
that?
they? No.
Yeah, they outsource their prisoners to other states. It's pretty fucked up. Instead of handling business like you should have, if you don't give somebody, 2, 3.
This was a long time ago. Schwarzenegger suggests Oh, hold on. It says this is all gov. Source data suggests outsourcing California prisoners to Mexico.
Yeah. I didn't hear about that. No, but if you're going to give somebody a life sentence, just execute them. If you're going to get somebody, 100 life sentences, just execute them.
If they say, yes, I did kill that police officer and his 2 children, or whatever, I killed that person, I preemptively done it, okay, then to the gallows you go, Like, what? There's no debate. There's no appeals to this,
Why spend thousands of dollars of taxpayer money every year when you could either get a cheap rope or, bullets at one time were pretty cheap. Just right in the back of the noodle.
There comes to certain people where they commit such heinous crimes that it's impossible for them to be rehabilitated in society. So why keep them around? It's just, yeah.
Well, it's a well-known fact that Texas has the death penalty, and we
Texas
use it.
has, and we use it. They say that if 2 or more people witness you commit the crime of murder, then your shit is on the front of the fucking line. Yeah. Is that still a law? They still have that?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I'm sure. I haven't heard any. I haven't heard anything about any repeals of death penalties recently, or changing of the way they do it here.
Didn't you guys put someone that was like mentally retarded on death row?
Probably. I mean, Texas. We love our death row here.
Yeah, as long as you guys still have it. The joke was, you can break the law anywhere you want. Just don't fucking do it here. It says, condemned man called most retarded man on death row, Atlanta. A lawyer will try this week to persuade Georgia's Supreme Court to overturn the sentence of Jerome Holloway, convicted killer described as the most retarded man on death row anywhere in the nation. Holloway was condemned for the March 5th, 1986 robbery murder of Corabelle Berry, an elderly black woman in Bryan County. Holloway, who does not know the year of his birth but is believed to be either 29 or 30, was described in brief details by his appeals attorney as a black man who was poor and illiterate and totally without the mental facilities to understand the fate which admitted him when he went on trial.
Wow. I mean, that is unfortunate.
Here's by the Huff Post, which I fucking absolutely despise the Huff Post. Texas keeps retarded man on death row. Despite a U.S. Supreme Court ban, Texas has continued to send mentally retarded criminals to death row. Will a Mexican immigrant's case correct this justice? Man. Yeah, interesting.
I think that's a little harsh to do that to somebody in that kind of mental state.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
I'm sure it's happened before.
But then again, I mean, what do you do with somebody like that? Because they're not going to fare well in general population.
Yeah, I don't know. And what is the definition of the mentally retarded anyway?
Yeah,
because they say that when anyone that knows anything about psychology, people that are psychopaths that basically possess the inability to understand on what other things feel, right? So they can look at a marriage and they can look at a murder and they can have the same emotional reaction when looking at 2 pictures, right? There is no cure for that. As a matter of fact, the only cure for that is removing them out of society and imprisoning them. So, what do we do?
Well, I mean, that is a form of retardation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be described as that. Yeah, definitely inhibits their ability to, as a, to work as a, a contributing member to society. But let me give you this: CEOs as this might. Let's see, percent of. New York Post: Why Silicon Valley CEOs are such raging psychopaths. No, but this is they actually contribute that a large percentage of CEOs across the nation are psychopaths. That they don't look at firing someone the same way as hiring someone. You know what I mean? It's an interesting look at it.
Well, another interesting look is they wouldn't be where they are if they weren't.
If they weren't, yes. But the thing that makes them separate from like a psychopath that murders people is that they are not inhibiting. Their actions are not inhibiting their contribution to society. Is what.
Yeah. Yeah, there are different levels of being a psychopath for sure.
Yeah.
There's different levels of being a sociopath.
Yeah.
But they definitely didn't get to where they were without being some kind of psychopath.
Without being a dick.
Yeah, I mean, because look at it this way: these people that create these platforms, these products, Bill Gates being a good example.
Mm-hmm.
You think he was getting pussy in high school? Fuck no. I mean, even if girls, loved him for his brain back in high school, he would probably still turn them away. Yeah, he's one of those people that I don't need friends. I don't even want people on this earth other than me.
Yeah.
He looks at humanity with disgust.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to try to get into the mind of those people and see how they actually really view, others. Well, hey, man, I'm going to have to call it quits. Been 3.5 hours, man.
Hey, man. We should do this again next week.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate it. If anyone actually really stuck around this long to listen to the whole thing, I want to say, hey, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
It's been 3.5 hours, man. That's awesome. Well, hey, we talked about a lot, and we'll do it again soon. And, all right, hey, take care, everyone.
Later.